Yep.
Stand up, New York Giant fans. Baddog. Maybe we don't deserve it. Maybe some people argue for sure we don't deserve it. We're 5-10. But the fact of the matter is, we've got something to play for. Week 17 for the first time since 2016.
Right.
Really the first, something to play for in December for the first time since 2016, let alone January. Tomorrow against the Dallas Cowboys. And obviously a big game. And I think it's a big game for Daniel Jones, more so than anybody else on this football team. And, we're going to see if the kid could grow. It's basically a playoff game, and we'll see how he responds. We'll see what Joe Judge comes out with. But looking forward to it, my man. Thanks for popping on the stream.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. You don't ever need to thank me. This is I say it all the time. It's my favorite thing I do on YouTube. I love this show. You guys this year have been phenomenal, as always. I mentioned my video today at the end of that video, and I was doing my little TTC stuff. If OGR's in here, shout out to OGR for inspiring me to go back to my TTC roots, but letting the Cowboy fans know they're a very fan base. The fact that none of the trolls are around when they were 3-9 and now they're all back at 6-9, that's the way it's been since I've been here. New York Giants fans aren't like that. We've been bad for years, and you continue to support and grow our channels and our show. And that means the world to me. It means the world to Chris. I know I can speak for him when I say that. We got the best support on here. I love you guys, man. I really do. And I can never say it enough how grateful I am, how great this season has been. Even if we haven't been a good team, it's been fun. We spent a couple of weeks in first place. And like Chris said, it's a big game. It's a huge game for Daniel Jones. We don't know what's going to happen with Washington and Philadelphia. And we have to just take care of our own business and let the chips fall where they may. It's a shame that we have to rely on somebody else. We should have taken care of our own business. But the fact we're playing a meaningful game against Dallas in January, it's going to be fun regardless.
Yeah, I'm completely with you, man. To me, it's fun to have meaningful football down the stretch. Maybe not every New York Giants fan agrees with that. It is what it is. I can't wait to see how it turns out tomorrow. It's not going to be an easy game. Dallas has been playing really well down the stretch. Also, I want to apologize to you, Baddog. I saw you were worried about me. I said let me let the chat know my phone was literally dead for 2 days. I couldn't get it to work, so I messaged Baddog on Twitter today. I finally got it working. I had to get lint out of the area of the iPhone where the charger is. I looked up numerous YouTube videos, and I was finally able to get it to work. So that's why I was MIA for a couple days with Baddog. Zahai, man, thank you very much. He says, you're late, Chris. Judge is going to make you do laps. Happy New Year's, brothers. Zahai, man, thank you so much for popping in the stream, man. Hopefully, Joe Judge doesn't make us do too many laps after tomorrow's game. Baddog, I mean, we say the same thing every week, but it's even more magnified against a team like Dallas. Running the football is what's going to win this game. You look at the Dallas Cowboys the last 6 weeks, even when their defense has improved, they've given up 1,003 yards on the ground over their last 6 contests, over 100 yards in each one of those 6. That's clearly their weakness. You could run the football on them, and we know the strength of that team. They could air out the football. They've got weapons all over the football field. Zeke's starting to rebound. I worry about their offense, but we've got to keep that offense off the field. We cannot get into a shootout with this football team and expect to win it, especially the way our defense has played the last 3 weeks. Hopefully they come out and they give a great performance. But going into this game, knowing the weakness of that defense, we've got to be able to run the football. And, of course, Jones is going to have to convert in the red zone.
Yeah, that's a huge thing to me. Jones needs to be 100% healthy. He needs to be able to use his legs as well with this RPO thing. Because, like you said, Dallas's biggest weakness is their rush defense. How do you keep a good offense off the field? You run the ball, control the clock. Dallas's offense has been playing very well. Now, granted, they played 3 really bad teams the last 3 weeks, and we played 3 really good teams. That's still not an excuse. Their offense is firing on all cylinders. They have 3 really good receivers there. Michael Gallup is the worst of the 3, and he would be our number 1 receiver. I can tell you that. And then, of course, you got CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. CeeDee Lamb, one of the best rookies to come out of the draft, and Amari Cooper, one of the best receivers in football. Andy Dalton's finding his way, and Zeke is emerging, and of course Pollard is a nice change up there. They got a good team. They got a really good offense, and sometimes the best defense is a good offense yourself. Ball control. It's how we won 4 straight. It's how we beat Seattle. It's how we were winning time possession, not turning the ball over, and our defense is playing better because they were rested. That's what we're gonna have to do. There's no doubt about that. We got to get back to Giants basics of running the football and run until they stop. That's really what we got to do.
It's common sense. I mean, you look at the way we knew going into the year, Baddog. We talked about it on our shows before the year started. It's not ideal. We would love to have a team that goes out there and could win football games, airing the ball 35, 40 times a game. We're not equipped to be able to do that. And especially when you're going up against a team like Dallas, But like you said, you look at our 4 wins. That's how we won. Dirty, sloppy football, running the football, controlling the time of possession, not turning the ball over, which I'm going to give Jones credit for. His last 5 starts hasn't thrown a pick. He's only lost 1 fumble over his last 5 starts. He's gotten much better in that area. He's got to continue that tomorrow. We cannot have mistakes, and special teams has to show up, which they have not done since the bye week.
Yeah, special teams, great point. It's been really bad. And again, with Daniel Jones, I'm not going to get into it too much, but again, it's nice that he ain't turning the ball over, but he's not throwing touchdowns either. I mean, we're not scoring.
No, you're right. You're right.
As a unit. So, like you said, this is big game for Daniel Jones. Big game for Daniel Jones. He needs this time we can't be at the end of the game going, well, he didn't turn over. I want Daniel Jones balled out. I want Daniel Jones put this team on his back. Daniel Jones was the reason that this offense scored 27, 31 points. I want that. I want that this game. He needs to prove to me, and not just me, but a lot of Giants fans, that he can carry the team when need be. Eli Manning had that killer instinct. Yeah, sometimes he threw some bad interceptions. Yeah, his statistics weren't very good his first few years in the league. But we all know when the chips were down, we always depend on Eli Manning to bring the team back. I want to see that from Daniel Jones. I want to see that particular killer instinct. I want to see that heart, that grit, that determination. He needs to make big throws. We need to win this game. We really do.
Yeah. Well, there's no denying it. This is by far the biggest game of Daniel Jones' career. It's not even close up to this point. It's a young career, but by far the biggest game in his career. Josh, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. He says, Chris, you were the MVP in that Jeopardy game. Yeah, I was on Authentic and the Beards earlier. Really cool Jeopardy game they got, and I'm the defending champ along with Kid Blue and Steph.
I'll tell you what, I forgot all about. He asked me about that at the beginning of the week. He's got to forgive me because I got my memory sucks and very off this week. But I was watching that back. I would have smoked it like it was 420 over there. This is why I have. That's why my short-term memory sucks. I got all that stupid knowledge in my head that is useless trivia. Music and sports is just dumb. It's ridiculous.
We're going to have you come on then next week.
I need to get on there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we're going to be defending the belt, so hopefully you get you on there.
Get on there. I might be on your team, and then forget it.
Oh, if you aren't,
we'll be like the 72 Dolphins, Chris.
Mike, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. He says, what's up, you two knuckleheads? I'm ready to get this win tomorrow, and whatever happens Sunday night, win or lose, I just want us to end on a good note. Mike, that's all you can ask. I mean, and we'll get into the Eagles talk and what they're doing, but I'm not even thinking about the Eagles game yet, Baddog. It's like I always say, one game at a time. The only thing, and it's our fault, we had opportunities to win games. We couldn't win them. We had an opportunity to win the Bucs game. We had an opportunity to win the Eagles game, the Cowboys game, several other games. And you could definitely point to factors why we didn't win, referee, whatever. But it is what it is. We put ourselves in this situation where we don't control our own destiny. So we can't control that. All we can control is going out there and winning on Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. And then the chips fall where they may. I'm not thinking about the game until such time we get a W tomorrow. Yeah,
we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Because if we don't win, it's irrelevant anyway. So we got to take care of our own business. And then, we need help from my most hated franchise in sports. I mean, come on. Wouldn't it be fun? And I know there's Eagle fans in here. Wouldn't it be fun for you Eagle fans to watch me root for the Eagles? Wouldn't it be a change? Wouldn't that be something else? To hear me openly cheer for Philadelphia. Now, I know Johnny the Turner. I don't know if he's in here. I don't know if he's going to watch it back. Johnny, you're the man. You know that. My man, the Phillies ace. Great supporter of both of us. Great Eagle fan. Always says, Baddog, you would make such a great Eagles fan. Well, Johnny, if you're out there, if we win that game, I'm going to be an Eagles fan Sunday night. So there you go. That's the best you can get from me. And I told him that because he was in my chat the other day. I said, that's the best I can do for you. I can root for you on Sunday night. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not going to go as far as Pizzle. I saw in his video he did the Eagles theme song. I won't do that.
Get that out of me.
But I'm definitely going to be cheering on the Eagles. There's no doubt about it.
I will give him a little Jason Garrett.
I'm going to tell you what, regardless, win or lose, I'm going to be rooting for the Eagles. Because if we lose, then you're thinking draft position. If the Eagles win, we get a higher draft pick. So regardless of what happens.
I want to talk about that before the show's over.
Yeah, we'll get into all that. We'll get into all that. So hi, man. Thank you very much, man. When are you going to go live with Bangle again? He's an intelligent fan, and you all have great perspectives on the team. I went with him before. I would love to work with him again. We didn't go live. We did an edited video. I think I premiered it, but I'll reach out to him again, maybe in the offseason, talk about the draft, whatever else. I had a great time with him. So hi, man. But thank you very much. And Christopher, man, thank you so much, man. Hey, Chris, do you think the Giants should wait? Who do you think the Giants should bring back if we could only bring back one, Tomlinson or Williams? And this, let's talk about this. This is like one of the most common questions that we've gotten all year because we knew we were going to come to a crossroads at the end of the year. You got two players at a position where we're pretty strong to begin with, and more than likely we knew going into the year you're not going to be able to pay both. Then you factor in that we already paid Logan Ryan, and a lot of us thought maybe you bring back both, but you don't bring back Logan Ryan. When you bring back Ryan, more than likely you're not keeping both. I think they're going to end up keeping one. I'll let you start on this. Where are you leaning here between these two players?
Leo had a great year, and after Seattle, I was all about paying him. At this point, because of the Logan Ryan signing, I want Dalvin Tomlinson. He's probably going to cost about $8 million a year less. Leonard Williams is looking for $20+ million. I don't think he'll get that. I think Leonard Williams gets somewhere in the $17 million a year range. I think we get Tomlinson for about $10 million a year. I think you keep Tomlinson. I think you put that money into an edge rusher. I think the Giants need a legit pass rusher. Leonard Williams has been great with the run. He's had 8.5 sacks this year. But we haven't called his name. He's been very inconsistent over the last 3 weeks when we really needed big games from him. That scares me. I also talked about it when I did the video about paying him, that I worry some guys just play for the contract. I can't say that's Leonard Williams. I don't know Leonard Williams. But I always worry about those guys that are in their free agent year and they have a huge year and then they get that contract and it's like, well, I mean, I made it. I mean, I'm not saying he would do that. But I would rather take the extra money, the difference between Tomlinson and Leo, give it to a legitimate edge rusher. If he's out there. I mean, if he's not out there, then maybe they can bring them both back. But I don't know, man. I think Tomlinson's value would be better for the team because I think you get Tomlinson and another player for what you're going to pay Leonard Williams.
Yeah, I basically brought that up on Twitter. And, I know a lot of Giants fans, and I just use Corey Davis as an example. A lot of Giants fans aren't in love with him because he's not a number one. First off, I don't think we're going to have enough money in the budget to sign Allen Robinson. That's just my opinion at this point in time when you look at the cap. So I use Davis as an example if they were going to go out there and add a wide receiver. But I just wanted to show that Dalvin Tomlinson, like you said, is going to give you a lot more cap flexibility if you want to try to make some kind of move. And I'm kind of with you if that's what they're going to go for. And you got to figure Leo is going to want at least $17 million. You got 16.5 on the franchise tag this year. And I'm sure a team's going to give it to him. They're going to look at the stat line. They're going to see how the guy performed. And, pass rushers are at a premium. He's still young. He's still a very good player. And it's going to be a tough decision that the New York Giants have to come up with. But I'm kind of leaning with you at this point, especially if Dalvin Tomlinson is willing to come back on a team-friendly contract, but kind of like he suggested, because it gives you a little more freedom, to possibly bring in somebody else. The other guy I've got a major question mark that a lot of Giants fans are kind of split on as to what we should do is Kevin Zeitler. 5-6 weeks ago, I would have said, you got to save the money. Zeitler's he's going to save you $12 million if you cut him, $14 if you could trade him. But you look at these guards right now. You look at the way Shane Lemieux played the last 3 weeks. The pass protection's been horrible. They don't have any confidence in Will Hernandez. He hasn't played in a while. I know he was sick. I worry about our guard play if we let Kevin Zeitler go. So that's another question mark that the New York Giants are going to have this offseason, what to do with that guard spot. Because, yes, Zeitler's definitely our best offensive lineman. He also gives you the most cap relief.
Yeah, well, I think Shoulder's gone. I don't think they're bringing him back. And that'll save us some money as well. I'm with you. When they were playing really well, I was like, maybe he's expendable. But at the same time, you know what? You need a veteran there. Everybody told me, Baddog, they brought Logan Ryan back for veteran leadership in the secondary. To me, I didn't buy that. You don't bring back a guy $10 million for veteran leadership when you have Jabril Peppers there. He's a defensive captain. That's your leader. Jabril Peppers is going to leave 4 years. I mean, that's a veteran. That's a veteran. He's a young player, but he's a veteran.
Right.
Our offensive line is extremely young. And we got 3 rookies on there right now. And Will Hernandez is what, a third-year guard? You need a veteran guy like Kevin Zeitler there. And he's arguably been our best lineman. He's the most consistent lineman. And to me, he ties that all together. I think he's worth the money personally. It's not like, so, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to replace him with? So, to me, I like the idea of Kevin Zeitler staying around. And again, I know that's, not giving us as much cap flexibility, but I mean, who are you going to replace him with that's going to be better for less money? So, Nick Gates has only been in the league a couple of years. To me, Zeitler stays. Solder goes.
It's a tough decision. There's no doubt about it. And I think a lot of it's going to come down to what the coaching staff feels. Do they feel like they could get by with those two guards. If they can, maybe they do use it as cap flexibility. But right now, I wouldn't be ultra confident in it. Sox, Arizona, man, thank you very much. No matter what happens in the Eagles game, this will be a huge win for the team and the fans. Go G-Men. Sox, Arizona first. I want to say thank you for being a great subscriber. You got beautiful hair, as Pizzo always says.
That's why I call them locks. That's why I call them locks, Arizona. Kill for a head of lettuce like that. I don't have that.
We haven't beaten Dallas in a really long time. There's no doubt about it. And if we do win this game, we could hang our hats on that we beat every team in the division and we knocked them out of the playoffs. And then we see where it goes from there. Yeah. I'm going to be rooting for the team to win. I'm going to be rooting my ass off for the team to win. I know that it is less likely that we make the playoffs now, based on the decisions that the Philadelphia Eagles have made. But I still want us to win on Sunday, and then you always take a chance.
So do I, but like I told you before we started, I mean, honestly, it's not like the Eagles starters are any better. At 4-10-1, they suck. So, I mean, really, does it hurt anything? As long as Jalen Hurts is playing, I think they got a chance, honestly.
And he is.
If they really wanted to tank, they'd put Carson Wentz in there. There you go.
Matt, man, thank you very much, man. He says, I bet the Giants straight and the Cowboys-Giants over 44.5.
Hope you win.
Yeah, I like the over. I don't see if the Giants are going to win this game, I don't see them winning it unless they're scoring in the mid-20s. I hope I'm wrong. I hope our defense could do what we did against Seattle. I just don't have near the amount of faith in them that I did 3 weeks ago. We'll see. I do respect this Dallas Cowboys offense. I think we're going to need to put up at least 23-24. So I think the over, I think the 44.5 is pretty appropriate. I think it's going to be right around there. Zahai, man, thank you very much, man. He says, did Baddog have beef with that Ron Effect guy? LOL.
I don't know where that come from. Not really. I just let him have it on one of the videos. Like I said, I never did till he gave me a hard time. Told me I couldn't root for them. They made the playoffs because I said in 2018 they could start off 0-7. They started off 1-7, but that was kind of it. I'm like, is somebody telling me how to be a fan when I've been a fan longer than somebody's been alive? That ain't flying straight with me. So I had to let him have it. But no, I never paid much attention to him outside of that.
Yeah, Baddog never really had a beef with him. I mean, they went back just like no matter what. When you're always going to have a little bit of a beef with people on YouTube. I've had a little bit. I just haven't gotten too much into it. But no, I don't think Baddog ever really went out Ron Effect outside of some.
Just one video when he talked about how it was stupid for them to trade Snacks Harrison, and I told him that he didn't understand the cap. How the cap worked or how you're rebuilding, and that you don't rebuild around a 31-year-old nose tackle or defensive tackle that's making, $12 million a year or whatever he was making at the time. And that's why they traded him. But I said, you don't understand the cap. You don't. A lot of people don't understand the cap. They just think it's Madden. You can keep anybody.
Everybody wants to keep everybody.
I don't know why we're 5-10. I don't know why you want to keep everybody. This team hasn't been good.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with that too, but it is what it is, man. Everybody's different. But yeah, my biggest contention with him was not just that he said that to me, that he was saying it. He was just nasty to people. So I just don't fly right. You want to be nasty to Cowboys or Eagle fans? Be my guest. Nasty to your own fan base? I don't like that.
I hear you. Crimson, man, thank you very much. Let's use Leo's money for Shaq Barrett. I would love that.
What?
Yeah, I mean, Shaq Barrett's going to cost a lot, though. Again, like we were just saying with Allen Robinson, if we'll see. We're going to talk about a lot in the offseason. We'll have to see what the cap space is. I personally find it hard to believe that the New York Giants are going to be able to come up with that kind of money for one individual player. But maybe the cap's higher than people think. Shaq Barrett's going to cost you $20 million a year. He's going to cost you $20 million a year. Zahai, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. He says, I envy these new stadiums. MetLife sucks. Need an upgrade and don't want to share with the Jets. Anyways, this is a make-or-break offseason for this regime. Let's start with the stadium. And the funny thing is, you say new stadium. This is a new stadium, relatively new. MetLife has been new, 9-10 years now, Baddog, whatever it may be.
I think 2010.
Yeah, so about a decade. And yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of it either, but it is new. They just didn't do a very good job with it. Most Giant fans don't seem to be overly enthusiastic about the stadium, and I was definitely underwhelmed the first time that I saw it. And the second part of his question, which I forgot, what was it? It was, make or break next year. That's if this regime gets the opportunity, and we're going to find out tomorrow. We don't know if Gettleman's coming back. It's just a guessing game at this point. Half the fan base thinks he's gone. Half the fan base thinks he's coming back. We'll know tomorrow. Yeah, we'll get our answer by the end of tomorrow, more than likely, unless we make the playoffs. Then maybe, it'll take a little bit longer. But Either way, no matter what they decide to do, I just hope that they make the right decision. And if they decide to move on and they bring in an outsider, the one thing I'm praying that they don't do is they do this, they cannot do the same thing to the new GM if they go that route that they did to Gettleman, which is force a quarterback and force a head coach on the new GM. That new GM has to have full say. You cannot, because then you're going to limit your hiring candidates. If you go into the interviews and say, oh, nope, you're not getting this job unless you got Daniel Jones, your quarterback, you're not getting, which is why I don't think it's necessarily the best year to do it. But some Giants fans will definitely debate me on that. But I think you agree with me. I watched your video on it.
Yeah, yep, exactly. I agree.
I think that I think we need more clarity on the situation. We need, I think it's better to bring the guy in when we know that Daniel Jones is completely done or he's the guy going forward. And then that's my opinion.
Dave Gettleman, Daniel Jones and Dave Gettleman are tied together. So if Daniel Jones fails next year, he's gone. Gettleman's gone. That's it.
Yeah, he might be gone this year. I'm definitely not saying he won't be gone.
I wouldn't like it though. I understand people want to get rid of him, but it's just not a good situation. The Knicks have done this for years.
Yeah.
Knicks have been they're 3-3 this year. Big improvement.
Tom Thibodeau.
They've been bad for 20 years. Maybe they finally found the right coach, but they've been bad for 20 years because they've done this. Yeah. The carousel of GMs and coaches and players. You need some stability, guys, especially with a young team. You need some stability.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
RKO, man. Thank you very much, man. Bad Dog kind of cute. I'm not gay, but I'd clap his cheeks.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of weirdos on the internet. I know there's women half my age that think the same thing. They would like me to clap their cheeks, but I'm a married man, so that doesn't happen. But
God.
It's the internet. It's the internet.
There's a lot
of weirdos, and it's not just in the internet. It's the gym. I always say when I'm like the most normal person in a place, there's a problem. A lot of weirdos. I don't know. Brilly.
Yeah, Brilly is right. Gil says, go Knicks. Huge win tonight, Gil. I did not see that coming. I did not think they were going to win tonight. Nice bounce back win after how poorly they played against Toronto, and Barrett had a really big game. Yvonne says, DT said he may take Dalvin Tomlinson said he may take a pay cut. Leo gets a third round comp pick. Yes, he more than likely would if he would get the contract that we all assume that he would. He'd also get us a third round comp pick, which makes it even more enticing to potentially let him go.
Right.
So, that's something I didn't even bring up. That's a good point.
Yep.
Yeah. Jordan Renan, he says, rumors say the Giants have a new GM from the Titans already. Jones' job is up in the air. Leonard Williams won't be back. Mara giving Judge full reins. Jordan, we'll see. First off, thank you for the insider information. Jordan,
we love you as a supporter of this channel. We know you're always wrong. Right? Jordan Renan said Daniel Jones he was definitely going to play, the hamstring was pretty bad. It was really bad. And then it was okay enough to play. And then remember, he was definitely going to start and he didn't start. And I was like, this guy don't know anything. Oh, not to mention Jordan Renan. I was watching they were interviewing Daniel Jones, and it wasn't Jordan Renan. I'm not going to say it was. I don't think it was him. I don't want to say it was him if it wasn't. The first question asked to Daniel Jones was, "Do you want to play?" I'm like, where do these people get their credentials? What the hell kind of question? Do you want to play? No, I don't want to play. I've only been bred for this since I was 4 years old. Anybody ever that has played any level of sports wants to play. If you didn't want to play, why the hell would you even go out for the team?
Yeah.
Of course he wants to play. I'm like, how about you ask him, Daniel, how's your hamstring feeling? Do you think it'll be 100% by Sunday? And do you feel that you can do every play in the playbook? Do you feel you'll be hampered by your injury?
That's a more appropriate question. That's a more appropriate question.
That's why people come here now.
And I agree with you. And Steph, but it's coffee, Steph. It's nothing crazy. It's just coffee. It's coffee. I always have coffee when I do the live streams. John, man, thank you very much. He says, Stella. Oh, that's John Letourneau. He says, and stand up. He changed the icon.
He changed his name.
Yeah, he changed his name. He says, love you guys. Giants think Chris, my Phillies Ace account is blocked. Oh, I'll have to look into that. I don't know what's going on with that. I unblocked everybody. And apparently it's again. I'm going to have to get rid of my mods again. I don't know what's going on.
It's funny, Chris. Somebody told me the other day that I had to resubscribe to your channel. And I told you, YouTube takes people. It's weird. I don't know. YouTube.
I got to look back on there again before the game tomorrow. And if that's the case, I'm going to get rid of all my mods because it sounds like it's happening again.
except for me.
Yeah, except I'll have like 4 mods, but this has happened way too often now that we're gonna start from scratch again, John. So I apologize. It happened 2 weeks ago when I unblocked everybody. Jordan, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. He says also Jerry Reese might not be headed to Jacksonville. Reese has taken 3 years off from the league, and I think he deserves a new shot. Hopefully he focuses on the offensive line. Well, one thing I'll say about Reese, Baddog, and I did hear the rumors about Jacksonville. I also heard Urban Meyer's going to be their head coach. But the one thing about Reese, he did focus on the offensive line. He just didn't hit on it.
Right.
He missed. He drafted 3, one in the second,
Pugh.
I think.
He
Yeah,
drafted
Pugh in the first.
Flowers.
Richburg in the second, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he did focus on the offensive line. He just didn't hit.
Right. He didn't focus on it after Flowers. He probably said, "The hell with that. I can't."
Yeah, yeah. Then he went with what's his name?
I'll tell you what. They better not focus on the offensive line. They better take Trevor Lawrence, which I thought was funny. I watched a video maker last night say Trevor Lawrence is overhyped, and he said that was the first game that he watched. The first game he watched against Ohio State, the only game he watched Trevor Lawrence, and said Trevor Lawrence was overhyped. Clemson got beat by a better team last night, plain and simple. Trevor Lawrence, all these Daniel Jones people say he's got nobody to throw to, or he got no help. My man Trey Sermon, former Sooner, ran for 193 yards. Justin Fields was phenomenal last night. Best up rib, kid was balling out. I said, I don't like Ohio State quarterbacks, but if I'm picking one, it was him because he's different level, okay? Trevor Lawrence threw for 400 yards with 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, and he's overhyped. You're out of your mind. You watch one game and think he's over. Watch his whole career. Guy's not overhyped. He's going to Jacksonville. Fields is going to the Jets.
Yeah.
Then who knows? Kind of like last year. Burrow was first, Young was second, then who knows?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think at this point, Fields, unless he has a horrible game against Alabama, has cemented himself as the number 2 pick.
Alabama's defense isn't what it used to be.
Yeah, even Notre Dame moved the ball on them.
They're playing better, but they're not what they were.
Yeah.
Just the Florida game, Kyle Trask tore him up. So
yeah,
Kyle Trask could go to New England and be a star. Hot take.
I mean, if Bill Belichick is still there, he could turn almost anybody into a star. So
except for Cam Newton.
Yeah, except for Cam Newton. Mike, man, thank you very much. He says, can't wait to watch the draft with you guys and watch the Eagles messed up more draft picks. We still got a game left, Mike. We still got a game left. But yeah, the draft
will be fun. No, it always is.
Oh, it'll be a blast. And Isar, man, thank you very much, man. What a performance by Justin Fields. We need Jalen Waddle. I checked him out. His film is so fast. Physical wins one. Everybody loves Jalen Waddle. I think he'll be the 3rd receiver off the board, but everybody loves Jalen Waddle.
Listen, I'm gonna get into the thing about the picks right now. I had a lot of Giants fans tell me I want to lose. I want a better pick. I want a better pick. I want to lose. I don't want to win this division. Get blown out in the first round. I want a better pick. You guys that think that, okay? We've picked top 6 the last 3 years. This team has won 14 games in the last 3 years. There is no guy that we took in the top 6 that is a franchise changer. If you want to tell me it's Saquon Barkley, how come we haven't won more than 5 games since he's gotten here? It doesn't matter where you pick, guys. It matters who you pick. E.J. Henderson was picked 9th last year by the Jags. Does anybody even know who E.J. Henderson is and how good are the Jags? They're the worst team in the league. Justin Jefferson was picked 22nd. CeeDee Lamb was picked 17th. They've been the 2 best receivers in this draft class, 17th and 22nd overall. Jalen Waddle's great. Jamar Chase is great. Devontae Smith is great. You could throw all 3 of them in a hat. You could pick one out. You're not going to be wrong, right? To me, Devontae Smith fits the Giants better. I don't think Devontae Smith is the best receiver in this draft, but I think he's best for the Giants. It's about picking the best player for your system and not always the best player available. Devontae Smith succeeds because of the RPO system in Alabama. With a healthy Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones being healthy, that's what the Giants are supposed to be running. Devontae Smith would be the man here. I don't know if he's going to make it to us or not, but that's a guy I'm looking at. But again, it doesn't matter where you pick. It doesn't matter if we're picking 7th or 19th. You have to hit on the guys. We haven't hit in the last 3 years. There is no guy that changed our franchise. There's no guy that set the franchise into 8 or 9 wins. It hasn't happened.
Well, and the other thing is we're not drafting a quarterback.
Right.
I could understand more so. I
Right.
understand the philosophy.
Like last year, Chris, it was different. We could have second overall is one thing. 7th, 8th, 9th, 12th, whatever.
Yeah.
to me.
Let's just go out there and win the football game. And
Yeah,
win.
I agree. I agree.
And Christopher, man, thank you very much. He says, do you think Evan Ingram is the tight end of the future? If not, do we give him Smith a shot or address tight end in free agency or the draft? It's a great question, Chris. My first answer to you there about Ingram is I do not think he's the future. I do think unless we draft a tight end, which is possible, people are bringing up Pitts. I'll say one thing about Pitts. I watched that guy. That guy's impressive, and that guy could block. He's a complete tight end. But if they don't elect to do that, I still don't think Evan Ingram is the long-term answer. I just don't. I don't think he's the long-term answer. I think he'll be here for one more year. And if we could trade him, we will in season if it makes sense. And if not, I do not see him being here long-term. I don't see the New York Giants tying up. You got to remember, if Gettleman's got, first off, Gettleman has no attachments to him to begin with. He was a Reese guy. And if you bring in another GM, he's even further, removed from him. I really don't think Evan Ingram's going to be here long-term. I think they let him go for a comp pick if they're unable to trade him at the end of next season. But he'll be here next year, not the tight end of the future.
Agreed.
Yeah. Michael, man, thank you very much, man. Who do you all think gets tagged this offseason? Nobody from the Giants. We don't have a player worth tagging. The only player that could potentially be tagged is Leonard Williams, and he'd cost you like $20 million because last year he cost you $16.5, and that was as a D tackle. I was talking about it on Twitter the other day, Baddog. He'd probably qualify as a DN this year, which costs you even more money.
Yeah, and I don't think he would sign it this time, and he should. He's had a really good season, and he should go out there and get free agent money. I wouldn't blame him for not.
It wouldn't even make sense financially for us to do it. He'd cost you like $20 million.
Right, either guy, our team and him, it would not make sense. So I can't see tagging him again.
Yeah, and you bring up Tomlinson. Tomlinson's market's probably 9 to 11. We saw what the D tackle market is on a franchise, 16 for Leonard Williams. So he doesn't make sense. And those are our two biggest pending free agents. We're not taking anybody. Michael, man, thank you very much, man. No debate, everybody. CS GM wise coming back. What am I?
Well, GM is general manager. I mean, I don't know what.
I would imagine that's what he means.
Yes. Coaching staff.
Coaching staff, GM wise coming back. I think there is a debate. I am not 100% convinced that is going to be what happens. But I definitely think it's more realistic than some fans are letting on. It seems like some fans think it's a foregone conclusion. That I don't agree with. I think it's entirely possible that I think it's almost 50-50 at this point. Like, I think it's up in the air as to who may be coming back. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Sam Weber, man, I don't know if I missed you. He says, found out you guys were streaming because I got a notification. Bless up, go blue, rah, rah, rah. Sam, thank you so much for coming in. Dominic, he says, Tana, you rocking the red hoodie for luck tomorrow? I got to find it, Dominic, but if I can, I will be rocking it. I was looking for it before the show, but I'm sure I'll find it. And Zigman, stand up, new member. Welcome to the channel, man. Thank you so much, man, for the love. I appreciate it. Should have a member stream in about a week. I know I've been slacking on those, man, but thank you so much. And I want to make sure I don't miss any more of these, but thank you to everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Don Lee, yes, okay, good. Don Lee says, did you hear DJ says he's not 100% in the interview? Yes, I don't want to talk about that with you, Baddog. It looked like Judge was pissed when that came out. He kind of talked about it and said that it probably wasn't the best idea for Daniel Jones to relay that information to the press, being that you don't want the team you're going up against to get a competitive advantage. So what do you think about that?
Daniel Jones is 100%.
Yeah.
Mind games, man.
Yeah.
You think so? I'm dead ass serious.
You think so?
Yep.
So you think Jones is trying to lead on that he's not?
I do.
And he is.
Maybe I'm giving Jones a little too much credit, but you know what? That's a slide kind of move I would make. Maybe Danny Dimes is saying, I'm going to say I'm not 100%. And then he's going to bust out an 80-yard RPO run on their ass. Yeah. I think Daniel Jones is healthier than he's letting on. Because why the hell would he say no player ever going to say he's not 100%?
We'll see.
Daniel Jones is playing a little mind games.
If you see the RPO, I'll agree with you. We haven't seen it since he's been back, but we'll see. RKO, man, thank you very much. He says Chris is cute too. We can play slap the sausage.
Weirdos, Chris. Weirdos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next.
No, it's just, it's Saturday night and, some
People
guys.
talking about slapping the sausage.
They're just weird. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. A lot of weirdos out there. A lot of weirdos.
In 2021, don't change that.
Lou, man, thank you very much, man, for the love. I appreciate it. He says, the Giants can't try being a quick strike offense. Could lead to 3 and outs, and the D is tired by the fourth quarter. Sustained drives. You have to run more than you throw. Time of possession is Lou. You're speaking to the choir.
Yeah.
A lot of Giants fans complain about that, Baddog. You see it all over Twitter. You see it on the YouTube page. They got to air it out more, this, that, the other thing. Listen, like Judge said at the top of the year, the best coaches play to the strengths of their football team. The Giants don't have a lot of strengths, but we know what their weaknesses are, and they do not have the weaponry to go tit for tat with good offenses. The best way to beat those teams is to run the clock and play ball control. It's about winning football games, and it's not where you want to be. You want to have the team that could go out there, air out the football 35, 40 times and win football games, but we just don't have the weapons. We don't have the team to be able to go out there and win games that way.
Yeah, we're not going out there with a full arsenal. You know, you don't go to a gunfight with a bunch of knives. You're not going to win, and that's what it will be. So our offense needs to be death by 1,000 paper cuts and keep them the hell off the field. That's going to be our best way to win. If we're going to win this game, we're going to have to run the ball for over 150 yards, win the turnover battle, and have about 34 minutes of possession.
Yep.
We do that, we win. Listen,
some turnovers too.
Dallas has played well. Dallas's offense is clicking. They played 3 really bad teams, okay? This is the easiest team that we've played in the last month. They're not as good as Baltimore. They're not close. They're not as good as Cleveland. They're not close. I don't even think they're as good as Arizona, to be honest with you. Their offense is good. Their defense is very weak. You can punch them right in the gut. Running the ball up, those are body blows, man. I don't know how many boxers are out there, but if you want to wear down your opponent, man, you continue to hit him with body blows. You don't try to knock him out with one punch. We don't have a knockout punch. So we have to continue to get them on the ropes and just continue to hit them with body blows. So in the fourth quarter, they're gassed, and then you can hit them with that knockout punch. But that's how we're going to have to do it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Zahai, man, thank you very much. He says, I get what you're saying, Baddog, and I agree, but the higher you pick, your chances of hitting on a player is higher.
Why?
I mean, technically,
why?
No, he's right. Technically, I'm sure if you did a study, the higher you pick, the higher probability you will land the pick. The other thing I brought up on Twitter today.
If it's not a quarterback, though, Chris?
What'd you say?
If it's not a quarterback.
I would still like an edge rusher like Chase Young. I mean,
but there isn't.
No, there isn't. No, there isn't. I agree with that. The other thing I brought up on Twitter today, and people brought up a good point that you could still trade down. But if we're looking for a wide receiver, being in that 8 to 10 range may be more beneficial than being in the 3 to 5 range.
Right.
Money. That's why. You look at what the third to fifth pick gets in comparison to the 8th to 10th. You're talking a difference of $4 million a year on average for a 4-year contract. That's a lot of money that goes towards your cap. So if you could still get one of those top 2 receivers in the 8 to 10 range, it's obviously better. Now, if we get the 4th pick and you could trade down, obviously. But in a way, it's almost a deterrent to be picking top 3 every year because that's going against your cap. Where teams that pick in the 10 to 15 range, it doesn't go nearly as much against their cap. If
I can give you 3 guys off the board immediately. I don't know where we're picking, okay? I don't know where Cincinnati's picking either. Cincinnati's not picking a quarterback. Yeah. Fields and the Jets might end up picking later. I don't even know where the Jets are right now that they won 2 in a row. I haven't looked.
They're picking second.
They are. Okay, so say where's Cincinnati? Are they 3rd? I know Cincinnati won.
I think they're 3rd right now.
Regardless, Lawrence, Fields, if Cincinnati's smart, Penei Sewell. You want to protect Joe Burrow.
They have to take.
You don't want to get this guy who has a torn ACL right now. You don't want to take a quarterback and do to them what, and I'm not saying Darnold is Joe Burrow because Burrow is a way better quarterback than Darnold would ever dream of being. But the Jets did Sam Darnold no favors at all. And the Giants, Daniel Jones doesn't have the best offensive line either. So if you're going to pick a quarterback that high in the draft, you mentioned it a year ago or whenever the Jets got Darnold, maybe this was 2 years ago, you said, if you're going to buy a Ferrari, man, you better get the insurance. Yeah. And to me, Penei Sewell is a guy that's a top 5 pick. We saw what Quentin Nelson did for the Colts. The Cincinnati Bengals would be smart to take Penei Sewell and protect Joe Burrow. That'd be the best thing for them to do. So there's 3 guys off the board right there. I don't know who picks in between us and them. If we lose, we're picking, 8th?
Or well, higher potentially, 6, 5, 6, 8.
Right.
Depends.
I'm not saying 8th. I'm just saying wherever we are right now.
Yeah.
The reason we're not moving up guys like Baddog is everything we could draft 3rd guys. There's a reason all those teams are picking before us. They all suck. The odds of them all winning.
No, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Especially since all of them were like, well, we need to get our stuff for the draft too. I want to win the game. I don't care about the draft.
I don't even want to think about the draft right now.
If we are out of it, on Sunday night after the Eagles-Washington game. I already said Monday, I'm going to do a video on Devontae Smith because that's who I think is best suited for the Giants. Yep. And then I'll start doing a draft thing once a week. But until then, we can talk about it. I want to win. I want to win, and I want that Eagles in Washington game to mean something for us.
Yep, I'm with you. I just want to read a couple of these before I lose.
Go ahead.
Andrew Christopher, man. Thank you. No, that's okay. He says, hi, what's going on, Andrew Christopher? Thanks for popping in. I got a couple here saved, but I want to read the ones I'm about to lose. DJ Smooth says, there's no way we take a quarterback if a new GM comes and we take Zach Wilson. I love him. There's no way we take a quarterback if a new GM comes and we take Zach Wilson. I love him. You mean there is a way? If a new GM comes, we take a quarterback. And I'd agree with you. It's obviously much more likely we could take a quarterback. And Bobby Boucher says, this is some high-quality content. Hey, fellas, should we target a running back in the draft or free agency? I guess it depends if we keep Gallman, but Barkley needs help with the workload coming back from injury. I think it's probable. Not likely. I think it's probable because unless Gallman comes back. And we'll see. You know, Gallman's kind of tailed off a little bit towards the end of the season. But if Gallman's going to get offered $4 or $5 million a year on a 3 or 4 year deal, I personally don't think he's coming back. And if he's not, yeah, I think we do draft a running back in the 4th or the 5th round to take the load off of Saquon Barkley. I do think that's something we got to look at. Pandemonium says, how about number 1 for Golladay? I think you mean free agent Golladay. I don't want Golladay. He's injury prone. He's going to cost $20 million. I don't think he's in the budget. I'd love him, but I don't think he's going to be worth the money that he's going to command, and I worry about the injuries, Baddog.
There's no way I'm giving up a number 1 pick for Golladay.
No.
When you can draft a wide receiver and not pay him that money.
Yeah, he's a free agent anyway. You're not trading. You know,
not doing that.
Yeah, they could tag him and trade him, I suppose. But Philly fan, man, thank you very much. He says, as an Eagles fan, I am pulling for you to win the division. Well, we appreciate that. Thank you very much. I don't know if
we're as Giants fans are pulling for you to beat Washington.
Yeah, we're huge Eagles fans this week. Josh says Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent. I don't understand how people say Fields is better after one great.
Because they watched one game, Josh. That's really all it was. But I didn't even comment because I'm just like, it's not worth it. But I'm just like, it just shows how you don't watch college football. That's all I took out of that video. It is what
Trevor Lawrence has been the most talked about prospect since Andrew Luck at the quarterback position. There's a reason for
Trevor Lawrence has been talked about since the number 1 prospect since he dominated Alabama in the national championship.
High school, they were talking about him as the by far the best prospect.
But when he did against Alabama in that championship game, his freshman year, I said, got it. As a freshman, the lights weren't too bright for him.
Yeah, absolutely. G-Man Rising, man, thank you very much, man. Leaning towards Dave Gettleman coming back, but if we have a new GM and a top 5 pick, should be able to take his own quarterback, cannot repeat the same mistakes for 2018. I agree with you. I've said that I think the best course of action, personally, being that I don't think you're going to be able to get an elite quarterback, is to push forward with Jones for 1 more year and try to fix the rest of this roster. And if he still can't get it done, that's when I would make the change. But I agree with you. If you are bringing in an outsider GM, you cannot give him restrictions. That's where you get into trouble. If that's what we did with Dave Gettleman. That's what we did with Dave Gettleman. When Gettleman took the job, anybody with a brain knows that John Mara told him, we're going to go with Eli for another year. We got to see what we can get out of that. That's not what you do with your general manager. And if the general manager decides to go with Jones, he goes with Jones. But you cannot put restrictions on him. You have to allow him to make the decisions because, Baddog, if you do that, you're going to end up with the 3rd or 4th option. The best option ain't taking a job where he said you have to keep this coach and you have to keep that quarterback. It's why I've said I don't think it's an ideal situation, potentially, this year to make a change because I don't believe in ownership to give that freedom to a general manager 2 years after you took a quarterback and 1 year after you took a head coach.
If a new GM comes in here, like he needs free reign of everything.
Yeah.
So if he wants to tear it down, if he wants to go quarterback, then he goes quarterback. If he wants to go lineman, he goes line. Like you said, you can't give him restrictions. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody will ever convince me otherwise that Saquon Barkley was not a Dave Gettleman pick. I don't care. I don't care. That wasn't his pick. That's not his track record. Yes, I know he traded up for Christian McCaffrey. It made sense. But with the way the Giants were built at that time, they wanted – listen, ownership did that because ownership felt bad that McAdoo sat Eli and they just didn't do anything about it in favor of Geno Smith. They felt guilty, so they kept him around for another couple of years. We all know in 2017 the Giants should have drafted a quarterback that year when Ben McAdoo said, I want Pat Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. All these people that say Daniel Jones, he has no help. Daniel Jones, there's no receiver separation. We can't run the ball. Our offensive line stinks. Are you telling me that if Deshaun Watson was a quarterback of this team, we'd be 5-10? Because if you're telling me that, you're kidding yourself.
Nope.
If you're telling me Pat Mahomes, no, we wouldn't be 14-1 like the Chiefs. But we wouldn't be 5-10 if Pat Mahomes was our quarterback.
No.
Quarterbacks have a lot to do with the success of the offense.
Of course, it's the most important position. There's no doubt. There's no denying that. Mark Moran, thank you very much. Out of Smith, Waddle, and Chase, who do you prefer? Well, obviously Chase hasn't played. Smith is going to win the Heisman Trophy. He's been the most dominant collegiate. Most would say Chase is the better prospect. He's known as a unbelievable route runner. He's probably the best all-around wide receiver. Baddog said earlier he thinks Smith fits the offense the best. Waddle's an explosive guy, and I think a lot of it depends on free agency, too, to see who we would bring in at the other wide receiver position. I just want to read this before you respond, Baddog, because I'm going to lose it. G-Man Rising says, I'm not a Jason Garrett fan, but I think this idea of let Jones loose is nonsense. Jason Garrett and Joe Judge realizes the offense limitations and wants to play conservative. G-Man Rising, I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of agree with that. I don't know if I fully agree with it, but I do. Yes, for the most part, I do. It's what I said going into the year. And I don't know if it's because of Jones or because of the overall talent on the offense when Barkley went down. But regardless, I think that, and the other thing I say is this for everybody, and I'm not excusing Garrett. I'm not saying Garrett's done a great job. He hasn't. He's probably going to be relieved of duty if I had to guess from everything that I'm hearing. But you saw what Judge did, Baddog, with the offensive line coach, right? He stepped in and he said, you're gone. Don't you think if Judge was so against the offensive philosophy that Jason Garrett was throwing out there week to week that he would step in and change it?
Yeah, I do. I think that he would definitely go up to Garrett and say, we got to change the game plan. Listen, I don't – Jason Garrett, for a few weeks, opened up the playbook. We saw it. We saw him do it with Dallas. There was all kinds of trickeration and flea flickers and backwards passes and end arounds. And you saw that. But when your quarterback's not 100%, which Daniel Jones isn't, what are you going to do with him? You can't. You probably take 25%, 30% of the playbook away from when Daniel Jones can't move. Okay. Number two, we've been playing from way behind in all these games. This offense isn't built to come back from a 21-0 deficit or whatever we were down against Baltimore. That's not our offense. I say it all the time. Everybody that sits there and says Daniel Jones don't have this, Daniel Jones don't have this, you don't have that, they don't do this, they don't have this, they don't have that. You're Jason Garrett. I don't know what you expect Jason Garrett to do. And again, I'm with Chris. I'm not saying Jason Garrett's done a great job and he should come back in a 5-year deal, and I'm sold on Garrett as the offensive coordinator. But if you're not going to give Daniel Jones blame, you can't possibly blame Jason Garrett for this. He can only work with what's on the field. And all you guys that are saying we have no talent, how is Jason Garrett supposed to make the receivers get separation if they can't get separation?
Yeah, I mean, some people will point to this. Some people say you could scheme guys open, and I understand that to a certain extent. But if talent is a huge problem at the skill position, it's not many general managers are going to be able to come, offensive coordinators rather, are going to be able to come in and make magic.
You can also throw receivers open in the NFL. You're supposed to.
Yeah.
Too.
Scott, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, happy 2021 to you both. Thanks for giving me a great YouTube start. More nonsense, please. Maybe we'll do that a little bit more this offseason, Scott. Maybe we'll have more fun and maybe not call it specifically nonsense, but maybe just hangouts and non-sports related stuff once every other week or something like that. Just have fun. I know a lot of people ask for that. But Scott, man, Scott's been with me since the beginning, been with you since the beginning. Hysterical. Absolutely love Scott, man. I hope you're doing well, Scott, man. Hopefully you're enjoying your 2021.
I was actually thinking about the nonsense today. I don't know why I was thinking about the nonsense streams, but at one point I was thinking, and I'm like, I remember how they used to be such a big deal on Friday nights.
Yeah.
The nonsense streams. And I remember Goose would always do like a live stream before it. He would always call it like the pre-nonsense stream.
The pre-nonsense stream.
Yeah. It's pretty funny, but I mean, again, like you said, there's only so much you can have from week to week as far as nonsense. Especially when you're married. What the hell do I do? I don't do anything. So.
There's only so much nonsense you could talk about.
Right.
But we can have hangouts.
A lot of viewers now that don't know a lot of my nonsense.
That's true. And Mike Nixon, man, thank you very much, man. Right now, the Dolphins picked third from the Texans. Yeah, I know, and the Dolphins are set up very well. Actually, I thought the Bengals did. I guess the Dolphins. I don't know. Yeah, because Cincinnati won. Maybe you're right.
But since he's 3-11-1, aren't the Texans 4-10?
Maybe since he's got 4 wins. I don't know. I'll have to look at that, Mike. I'm not sure.
3. I thought they beat Pittsburgh, and that was their third win. I thought they were 3-11-1.
Yeah,
I could be wrong too. No.
The guy, man, thank you very much. He says, we could pick 5 and get Fields to fall to us. Jets take the tackle. Dolphins take the wide receiver. Cincinnati takes another wide receiver. And Fields at 5 is possible. First thing to make it possible at all, we need a new GM. And if Gettleman stays, Jones is going to be your quarterback in 2021. And that's the first step for all these people that are dreaming of another quarterback. That's the first step to even make it a realistic possibility. And it has to be an outsider, not a guy from within the organization. So before we even start talking about drafting a quarterback, let's wait 3 or 4 days to find out who the GM is. We're going to find out real soon. The Happy Huntsman, man, thank you very much, man. Baddog, if Fields is still up, does Dave Gettleman pick him? I think I just answered that, but I'll let you respond.
Fields is not going to be there. He is not getting past the Jets.
Yeah.
There's just no way they're not taking Justin Fields. The Jet fan base would revolt if they don't take a quarterback.
They could take Zach Wilson. But regardless, I think you agree with me. If Gettleman's still the GM, he's not taking a quarterback.
Fields ain't going anyway. Listen, even if you're Miami, you could take Fields and trade him. You're trading that third pick. If Fields falls to 3, Miami could trade and get even more draft capital.
I'm about to lose these. Hype says, by the way, how did you two become Giant fans? I'm going to answer that in 1 second. DJ Smooth says, if I'm Judge, fire Getty and Garrett, get a new OC, GM, and quarterback, get Wilson, sign a wide receiver in 2021 is on. Well, Judge doesn't make the decision. Judge is the head coach. Right. Maybe he has influence, but he's not the guy that does the firing. John Mara does the firing. This guy's 38 years old. He's got 1 year in the NFL. Let's pump the brakes in terms of he decides who does the firing. But in terms of the first, how did I become a Giants fan? My dad was a Giants fan growing up. That's how I became a Giants fan. I think that's most people, how they become Giants fan.
Grandfather was a Giants fan. Dad was a Giants fan. I'm a Giants fan. Little Baddog is going to be a Giants fan.
That's the way it works, man.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with Eli. I say it all the time. But initially, my dad was a Giants fan.
Yeah, well, that's like me. I grew up in the generation before you. And LT was my guy. So.
Yeah. And Chris, man, thank you very much, man. Keep doing the DJ analysis videos. Yeah, I had fun. Fireside Giants reached out to me. They do the film all the time. I'm not really a film guy, but I learn. I have fun doing it. We're going to alternate channels. So, yeah, I appreciate that. They are great. And when you look at DJ play-by-play, you can see the potential he has. He needs a wide receiver 1 badly. Well, the one thing that really stood out to me in that video that they pointed out that was really good, he has definitely gotten better in terms of holding onto the football and sensing the pressure and knowing to grab the football with 2 hands. You could see that he's worked on that, and he has gotten progressively better at that. And I mean, obviously the proof's in the pudding. The guy's only lost a fumble since week 5. So that there are areas where he has improved. He just hasn't improved enough. I think that's what people are, that are down on Jones, which is a large portion of the fan base. I think that's why they were expecting a lot more progression than what they got. Mark, man, thank you very much, man. If Jones throws 27 touchdowns and 7 picks next year, but we are still 6-10, what do you do? Would you pick up his 5th year option? Well, first up would be his 4th year.
Right.
It would only be next year's his 3rd year, right? Yeah.
Right.
So if he throws 27 touchdowns and 7 picks, you roll with him.
Absolutely. And you dump Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. Yes. If you only win 6 games, yes. Yep. Yes, you would look to potentially move on from Barkley after that year, if not the year after that. Let's see. I don't want to miss any of these. Justin says Holmes and Fackrell are coming back, right? And hello, Justin, man, thanks for popping in. From what I heard, and I didn't get an updated look at the injury report today, but Fackrell is playing. I did hear that. And I think Holmes is playing. I haven't heard anything updated on either front, but I think both are playing. I'm not 100% sure on that, Justin. John, man, thank you very much. Stand up, Giants family. You can't pick one person only to put the blame on. This is a team game, so the team is to blame. Listen, that's the way it works. And we talk about the quarterback position all the time, Baddog, that it gets more credit and more blame than it deserves. And it's with any position, whether it's the general manager, whether it's the head coach, whether it's the offensive coordinator. It's never one individual. It's usually a culmination of several things. And people pick and choose who they think deserves the most blame, and that's who they complain about. Some people think it's Jones. Some people think it's Garrett. Some people think it's Gettleman. Some people think it's Mara. And that's who people put their frustrations towards. But I'm in complete agreement with that. It is never one person when you're in a situation like this. I think we both agree the main problem has been Mara over the last 5, 6, 7 years. Starts at the top. And in terms of this year's team, it's hard to point out because I think there are reasonable excuses for everybody involved. that nobody was put in an ideal situation going into this year, whether it was Garrett with Barkley going down, the limitations on the offense, the players having to learn the new scheme, whether it was Jones having to learn the new scheme, Barkley going down. We all recognize that it was not an ideal year for anybody involved.
Right.
Baddog. So that's why I think it's hard to point the finger at one individual. But for people that really strongly believe in Jones, they're going to point at Garrett. And for people that really don't, are going to point at Jones.
I agree.
I think that's what it comes down to.
You can pick your poison.
Yeah.
I'm just reading the chat over here, and I just laugh the whole Barkley thing, how that sets people off. Just like when I say we should trade Odell Beckham, how it set people off. I don't know how many times I got to say this, guys. I'm not in love with players. I don't care about players. I care about the team. Somebody said, like Daniel Jones throwing 27-7 would have nothing to do with Barkley. You don't know that Barkley would be healthy. You don't know what Barkley would be doing. Mark did not say anything about Barkley has 1,500 yards and Daniel Jones has 27 touchdowns and 7 picks, and where he goes 6-10. Saquon Barkley comes up on the final year of his rookie contract. Are you going to pay the guy $19 million a year?
Well, man, I
don't want to do that. Chris and I both said if Saquon Barkley's healthy next year and does not take the Giants to an elite level of offense, there's no reason to pay the guy.
Well, Baddog, listen, at the end of the day, and I have the same approach, and Barkley's my favorite player in the league. I love Saquon.
Somebody said I hate Barkley. I got a color rush Barkley jersey. I freaking love Barkley.
I'm wearing the guy's jersey. At the end of the day, it's about results, and I love Barkley, and he definitely makes this offense better. I've talked about it extensively. But what you have to realize, one, we're going to have a new general manager at that point who has no attachments to Saquon Barkley. Not every general manager is going to value a running back as highly as Dave Gettleman may have in that draft. But two, if you're not winning, you got to start over. If you're not winning with Barkley and Jones on the rookie deals, and then you're going to go and pay these guys $20, $25 million when, maybe 17 or 18 for Barkley at that point, it doesn't add up to me.
Exactly.
Unless next year, if they're a 7-8 win team and Barkley's pulling out and Jones is bad, then you can make the argument. Let's keep Barkley because he's going to help that next quarterback that we're bringing in.
Right.
It's going to be a very tough decision.
2021 is everything for these players. Because like you just said, like I mentioned when everybody's like, we got to keep this guy, we got to keep that guy. And I'm like, why do we need to keep all these guys? Because we won 14 games in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Why do you want to keep these guys together for? We're not winning.
It's a tough decision.
So why do we keep all? Why does everybody want to keep everybody?
It's a tough decision.
I don't understand.
Yeah. George, man, thank you very much. Tomorrow's Eli Manning's 40th birthday. Actually, 2 days, January 1st or December 31st, I forget, was Joe Judge's 39th birthday. So they're 1 year apart almost, exactly. Let's go, Magic in the air. What did you say?
They're both younger than I am. By a lot.
And Riding Giants, man, thank you very much. He says, what's up, guys? RKO sounds like a Dallas fan, to be honest. Is that the guy that was saying that he wants to spank us and all that?
I just think he sounds like a weirdo.
Yeah, he might just be a guy that just doesn't know. Yeah, he's a little weird. But he would probably be a Dallas fan at that point.
They're all weirdos.
Yeah, you got to be pretty weird to root for Dallas.
That's true.
Yeah. Mike, man, thank you very much, man. He says, here's top 5. I just looked it up. Jags 1, Jets 2, Dolphins 3 from the Texans, 4 Falcons, 5 Cincinnati. Okay. So there you go.
Cincinnati's fit. Are they 4-10-1? Did I miss something?
No, I think they won. I think they have 4 wins.
Okay.
Because I think I remember seeing that they have the same record as the Eagles.
Wow.
But based off of that, Baddog, we're talking about quarterbacks potentially dropping to the Giants. Falcons probably taking a quarterback. I mean, that's what you've heard. The Jets are probably taking a quarterback. The Jaguars are probably taking a quarterback.
The Dolphins.
So if those 3 teams take a quarterback, Justin Fields ain't getting to us. So let's
getting us anyway.
Yeah.
There's no way the Jets don't take him.
Yeah.
It cannot happen. It can't happen. There's no way the Jets can't beat that guy.
I am Paul says, Baddog, what would you do if little Baddog became an Eagles fan?
It won't happen.
That was a simple answer. It's not happening. Not allowed. It's not allowed. Warpig Williams, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. He says, am I the only one that's always worried when the Giants play home games? Also, I think McSorley would have been a great backup to Jones. Happy New Year's. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. McSorley played all right in the opportunity he got with Baltimore.
But it's Baltimore.
Yeah, it's exactly. Exactly. You're talking about the best 53-man roster possibly in the sport. But as far, by the way, I think they're the biggest sleeper in this year's playoff. The Baltimore Ravens.
We won a Super Bowl before the year started.
I think they're the biggest. If there is a team that is, in the 4 seed or lower that could go on a Super Bowl run, I think it's them. And then he said, is he the only one that's worried when the Giants play home games? No. I mean, you go back to I say it all the time. I went to 3 home games the year that the Giants won the Super Bowl in 2008. They lost all 3. They were the road warriors that year. They won all their road games. I think they went 7-1 on the road, or they won. I know they won like 7 in a row on the road. It was crazy. At home, they've been notoriously bad. It's why they lose almost every time I go. So no, it's almost like we play better on the road. So no, I don't think.
You play better on the road. I just want to say real quick to Bark and ask, hey, we will agree to disagree on Bark. Listen, it's all good, man. I got no problem people disagreeing with me. It is what it is. I like to think outside the box sometimes. And again, I know Barkley's talented, guys, but I'm just not sold on a guy that has missed 17 games in the last 2 seasons, is going to come off an ACL injury, had a great rookie season, phenomenal, outstanding, over 2,000 yards from scrimmage. We won 5 games. It is hard for me to pay a running back that has great stats, then gets hurt for the next 2 years, and we're a bad team. It's hard to give that guy $18 million a year. It just is in my book. It's hard to take a cap hit on a guy that is not bringing your team to the next level, whether he's hurt or not. Maybe that's bad luck. But if you're hurt, you're not producing. You're not helping. And again, that's not his fault. It's bad luck. Same time, he's not playing.
That's the way the NFL.
That's just me. It doesn't mean I don't love Barkley. It doesn't mean I don't think Barkley is incredibly talented. And I hope that he comes back 100%. And I hope he kills it. I hope he has the year that he had his rookie season and we win 10 games. And I hope Daniel Jones does throw 27 touchdowns and 7 picks. I'm praying to God, Jesus, can you help us out? It's 2021. Listen, I want that to happen in the worst way. But we have to see what happens in 2021. If I'm just looking at it right now, because I can't predict the future, sometimes I can, like the Eagles falling off a cliff, which I love. If they both have good 2021s, we'll talk about it. But 2021 is make or break for Daniel Jones, Dave Gettleman, because I think he'll be back, and Saquon Barkley. I think it's make or break with this franchise. 2021 is going to decide which direction we go.
Well, yeah, whether we rebuild or whether we push forward.
Yep.
Yeah. Mike Francesa, man, thank you very much, man. He says, for people who want Jason Garrett fired, if DJ struggles next year, I don't want to hear any excuses. No, we can't learn to play. I am completely with you on that. Francesa. This is my mindset going into 2021. I want it to be without a shadow of a doubt. Get him whatever he needs. Go out there. If you got to sign a receiver and draft a receiver, do it. We need our answer on Daniel Jones. And life is not fair in the NFL. I am completely with Baddog on that, and it wouldn't be fair for Daniel Jones. I completely agree with that. He'd have 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing the Jets are doing with Darnold. Darnold was known as this great prospect. He had 3 years. He hasn't produced enough, and it looks like they're going to move on. It's the nature of the beast. Yes. Daniel Jones needs to show progression. 3 systems, 3 years. It is unfortunate. It is not the way that the New York Giants should go about doing it. If they do move on from Garrett. But it is what it is. You can't wait around forever. It's not like it was with Phil Simms when there wasn't a salary cap. It's a new NFL. And you can't keep going into year and year and year not having the answer. Next year, we need to see growth from Daniel Jones, regardless of who the offensive play caller is. And the Giants have to do everything in their power to get him the most weaponry that they possibly can.
Yeah.
I want to give a quick shout out to Zero X $5 donation. Thank you very much. And Mike says, do you think Barkley can win MVP? And if he does, how do you let him go? Do I think he could? Yeah, I think he could. I think there's a handful of players that are not quarterbacks in the NFL that are capable of winning an MVP. He's one of them. But you need the right team. You need to be able to block. You need your quarterback playing at a higher level. You need a more balanced offense that gives them the best opportunity to have those explosive plays. So we're not super predictable on offense. But yeah, if he goes out there, like Baddog said, we win 10, 11 games, and we're a serious contender, and he proves that he elevates the offense, you bring him back.
Absolutely. 2021 is going to be make or break for all these guys.
You bring him back. Yeah. And DJ Smooth, man, thank you very much. We need a new offensive motion and creativity on offense. I mean, yeah, Kyle Shanahan's don't grow on trees, but sure, if you could get that type of offense here, I'll sign up for it in a second. Those guys don't grow on trees, but if listen.
And again, you need the talent to run those complex schemes, guys. I mean, that's just the way it is. You know?
Listen, I'm going to trust Joe Judge. I've trusted him since he took the job. We have no choice but to trust him. As New York Giants fans, we have to hope the Giants made the right decision and the guy knows what he's doing. It's the same philosophy I have with the general manager that I have with the offensive coordinator. In the end, I want Joe Judge to feel, and it sounds like he's happy with him, but we'll see that he has a good working relationship with Gettleman. It could be coach talk. I want Judge to feel comfortable. I want him to feel happy. I want him to feel like he has the right tools in place to build his program. So if he feels like Gettleman's expendable and he wants a different guy, I'm going to hope he's right, and I'll support it. And it's the same thing with the offensive coordinator. I don't like 3 schemes in 3 years. It's not ideal, but if he feels like it's in the best interest for Daniel Jones and the offense, I'll support it. But if he makes the wrong decision on either account, Baddog, he's going to be out of job.
And it hurt. I mean, it hurt Alex Smith's progression his first couple of years in the league. Alex Smith got to be a lot better when he had a little bit more stability. He went through I don't know how many offense coordinators before he became a pretty solid quarterback. So I don't know. And I see this one guy, Asia actually timed him out, which is good because the dude puts the same thing on every stream. It says Baddog predicted Daniel Jones would be a Pro Bowler. I did. I'm human. I'm wrong.
I love that.
I mean, it always makes you laugh. The people that don't make videos are just they type.
Baddog, I don't think people realize when you make videos and you state your opinion, it's never fact. Well, sometimes it's fact, but when you make an opinion-based video,
yeah,
you're going to be right or wrong.
You're going to be right or wrong.
You're not going to always be right.
I saw another guy, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to hide him because I know it's the guy that accuses us of doing certain things on our stream. I know it is.
Yeah.
I know that. It said, what have I ever predicted? And everything I do is hindsight now. You're right. When I did the video in 2018 predicting Odell Beckham got traded to the Browns, that certainly wasn't a prediction. That was definitely hindsight that I predicted that 2 years in advance. You're right. I don't predict anything. I'm a terrible video maker. I'm a terrible fan. You guys, yeah, you're right. I'm terrible.
Michael, man.
What can I say?
Michael, man, thank you very much. He says, bold prediction, Saquon wins NFL MVP next season.
I hope you're right, buddy.
Listen, if I wouldn't say it's impossible. If this offense takes the next level and the offensive line plays at a top 10 to 12 level, which is a huge jump. They've been inconsistent this year. It makes it possible, but we'll see. And you got to see if he's 100% healthy. We read reports that said that he probably won't be going into next year, but we're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out as far as he goes. Xerox, man, thank you so much, man. Which wide receiver would fit the Giants best, Lamar, Chase, or Devontae Smith? Somebody asked that question earlier. I'll let Bando give his reasoning as to why you think Devontae Smith is the best fit for the New York.
Like I said, Devontae Smith succeeds because of Alabama's RPO offense. It's run very well with Mac Jones, Najee Harris. There's a guy that could go to Miami.
Najee, did you see the run that guy had?
Well, you could put him back with Tua. The hurdle was stupid. I lost my shit. I jumped off the couch. I couldn't believe. He was actually my prediction to win the Heisman before the year started. And I know he's a finalist, but I think Devontae Smith will win it. But yeah, I mean, can you imagine Najee Harris back with Tua? That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I just think Devontae Smith, with what the Giants would do here, with the way their offense should be run with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, I just feel like he's a better fit for our offense. I think that Jamar Chase is a better receiver. But again, that could also be because he's paired up with Trevor Lawrence. And he didn't play this year, which kind of concerns me that he opted out this year, where Devontae Smith really came on it and killed it. Like I said, it's not always about taking the best player. It's about taking the best player for your system. That's why when I always laugh at people like, he's a system quarterback. Well, they should be. The system should be set up to make your players succeed.
New England's a perfect example.
Fits our system the best. That's why I like him better. And I have to hit the head on that note. I mean,
go with the latrine. I'm going to get to a couple of these. Jonathan, man, thank you so much, man, for the $2 donation. I appreciate it, buddy. And Ion says, what offensive coordinator would you look at if Jason Garrett gets fired? Listen, we get asked that all the time, Ion. It's impossible, to know the answer to that. If they hire from within the team, I think Kitchens is the obvious answer there. Kitchens was the guy that took over when he had the virus, and Kitchens obviously has ties to Judge. I think if they hired in-house, that would be the guy. In terms of away from the organization, you look in college, you look in the pros. I think that's, you look for innovative minds. I think that's where they would go. But I think it would be a guy with attachments to Judge. And I don't know why I'm forgetting the guy's name. I talk about him all the time. He was the offensive coordinator for the Dolphins in 2019. He's now I think he's the quarterback coach for Cleveland this year. A guy I brought up in the past that a couple people told me about that could be a good fit. He's got ties to Judge. I can't remember him, but 2019 offensive coordinator for the Dolphins. He could potentially be available. That could be a guy from the outside that they could be bringing in. O'Shea, Chad O'Shea, I think is his name. The Meat Church, man, thank you very much. He says, may Saquon make it tough not signing him in 2021? Well, the only way he makes it tough, he's got to play 16 games. He's got to bowl out. First off, they're going to sign him, Baddog. They're going to extend him on the 5th year of that rookie deal before the year starts. They have to make that decision before the year starts, and they're going to do it. And they'd be silly not to. Because if you're going to trade him, it gives you more value. And if he plays good, it gives you the opportunity to extend him. It gives you negotiating power. If you extend them on the 5th year of that rookie deal. So I think they will extend them. They have to make that decision before the year starts. If they are assuming and it looks as if he's going to be able to play in 2021, they're going to extend him. That doesn't necessarily mean he'll be with the team. They could elect to trade him, or they could work out an extension at the end of the year. And it's going to depend on how the team performs. It's going to depend on how he performs as to what exactly the New York Giants do there.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It makes sense because, like you said, if they do decide that they want to move on from him or they don't want to pay him all that extra money, that it will give another team a year of control over Saquon. And again, it also gives them a year to see how good he can be in 2021, and then they can decide what they want to do from there. If he's good in 2021, then they have him on a 5th year option for 2022. And then at that point, they can decide what they want to do with him, if they want to give him that extra money or not. And like you said, if he's bad, or he doesn't really help this team get better and he's good and his trade value is really good, then maybe you consider it. If you could get draft capital and fill a couple spaces that you need, then maybe you do it. 2021 is a big season for the Giants. Both you and I predicted all we asked for this year. We both predicted to go 6-10.
Yeah.
We want to see improvement on the offense, but we want to see this team progress, and we want to see them beat the Eagles and the Cowboys. Okay? They have a chance to do both. The biggest disappointment for me is the fact Daniel Jones did not improve, and he did regress. And because I did have high expectations for Daniel Jones, which people point out all the time that I picked him to go to Pro Bowl. I did. I had a lot of faith in Daniel Jones. Physically, I say it all the time, feel like physically he's got the skills to do this. And I worry about his instincts because you can't coach him. I thought his instincts would get better this year. They got worse. It scares me. So, like I said, I'm rooting for Daniel Jones. It's not like I'm rooting against him. I don't root against any of these players. The players playing well are going to make us win. I don't know why anybody would root against a player on the Giants. I don't. I want to win games.
You and I both know there are fans that do that, though, so that they could say they were right.
I know, but I wanted Daniel Jones to make the Pro Bowl. I wanted Daniel Jones to be a top 10.
Of course, you should. If you're a Giants fan, you should hope every 53 men make the Pro Bowl.
I want him to be the future. I may not believe that he is, but I want him to be. There's no doubt about that. I want this guy to be our guy going forward. I want Barkley to be our guy going forward. You know? Well, 2021 we're gonna see.
2021 is and if they move on from get him, they bring an outsider. We may not even get 2021. It is possible if they make that move and they bring in a complete outsider and they give him full autonomy. It is possible they make a move at the quarterback position. I'm not ruling that out. But I do think Jones will be the guy. And as of now, I think that either it'll be an in-house GM or get him next year. But we'll see. We'll see at the end of the year. We're gonna get that answer. Chrissy the Snow Queen, thank you very much. If the Giants trade Daniel Jones, I'm done with the franchise. DJ is the best quarterback the franchise ever had. I know that Chrissy's a troll.
Yeah, she's good. She's Cowboys.
Being very sarcastic.
Yeah, that's Duchess. I think that's Birth of the Duchess or whatever it was. I think
it's. Yeah.
That's a good troll, though. That kind of trolling's funny.
Yeah.
That's the way a troll should be.
Absolutely. It's not disrespectful.
No,
I get it.
I like that.
It's poking a little bit at the Giants fans.
No, that's how you do it. That's good troll. That's good. I like that.
Benny Highlights, man. Thank you so much, man, for the $2 donation. Really appreciate it. Zahibe says, Packers, Bills, Super Bowl, book it. Let's talk about that just a tad, about the playoff situation. I'm going to have a video on that with my playoff picks probably just for fun. I always like to give my predictions on those big games. What do you think the Super Bowl is going to be? Do you think anybody in the AFC could knock off the Chiefs?
Yeah, the Ravens.
You think the Ravens?
I don't think they will, but I think that they have the best opportunity to.
What about the Bills? You think the Bills got a shot?
I just feel like the Bills are still a little inexperienced.
Yeah.
I think that Baltimore's got a little bit more experience. I feel like they're just a better all-around team. Buffalo is really good, though. I mean, don't get me wrong, and I enjoy watching Buffalo play. I thank God that upstate New York has decided to get rid of the Jets and put the Bills on instead. They're good. And I think they're a year away from being Super Bowl contenders. I think the Bills are 1 year away from that. I just don't know. I know Josh Allen's had a great season. I just don't know if they have enough offense to hang with Kansas City. I don't know, man. It's weird. Lamar Jackson just brings so much. And I know that Josh Allen's similar, but I don't know.
It sounds like you're not fully bought into Josh Allen.
I'm not fully bought into either one of them beating Kansas City. Kansas City is just phenomenal. They're so good.
It's going to be hard to keep up with them.
It is. But I picked Baltimore to go to the Super Bowl. I thought they had the best draft of anybody in the draft. I love the J.K. Dobbins pickup. I thought that was awesome. I love the Hollywood. I love Hollywood Brown. I think Mark Andrews is one of the best tight ends in the league.
The kick returner too. I say
they got a really good coach. Duvernay from Texas. Yep, and their coach is great.
Patrick Queen. They got a really good
Queen, right? Linebacker. So I felt like they had a really good day. And like you said, I think they're very dangerous. They're playing really good football right now. It'll be interesting, no doubt about it. But the fact that Baltimore made it farther into the playoffs last year than Buffalo did, I think that makes a bit of a difference. But we'll see. I don't think either one can beat Kansas City.
I'm excited to see Josh Allen in the playoffs. I'm a huge Josh Allen fan, and I'm excited to see if he can progress in the playoffs this year. But I tend to agree with you. I think it's going to be very hard to.
I'm a huge Josh Mahomes fan. I don't know how you can like football.
Oh, Mahomes is great.
Like a fan or something.
Mahomes is great. Mahomes is fantastic.
God, he's so much fun.
Dave Gettleman.
He goes real quick. He said Packers. I think you can put 3 teams in a hat, and
I just want to read Dave's, and then I'm going to talk more about that. Dave Gettleman says, I'm retiring, and buddy Steve Mills is the new Giants GM. Don't say that, Dave. I don't want Steve Mills. But as far as the NFC, I look at the Saints. I don't think they're going into Lambeau Field. I don't see Drew Brees going into Lambeau Field and beating Rodgers. If it was in New Orleans, different story. But the team I could see beating them right now is Brady and the Bucs. The Bucs right now are getting hot at the right time. Obviously, Brady's got the playoff pedigree. If I was going to pick a team other than the Packers to come out of the NFC, I'm picking the Packers. But if it's going to be somebody else, and the Packers lost Bakatari, which is a huge loss, the best left tackle in football, so that definitely may hurt them. And if it's not going to be the Packers, I'm going Bucs. I think the Bucs are getting hot at the right time. Those would be my 2 teams out of the NFC.
Alvin Kamara can play. I don't care what Drew Brees does. Alvin Kamara's
a beast.
Stud. I'm not sold on Tampa. I'm really not. I'm not sold on them. I don't know. I don't know, but it'll be interesting. I really like Seattle. I mean, I'm a huge
Russell Wilson's great.
I bought his rookie. I don't know. Russell. Anytime you got Russell Wilson, you got a chance. But yeah. I think Seattle, New Orleans, Green Bay. I think those are your teams. I'm not saying that the Bucs can't. I mean, Brady certainly has, like I said, has experience. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest quarterback to ever play, in my opinion. And hey, it's business for me. So Tom Brady wants to win another Super Bowl. He wants to win 7 of them.
Help the card collection.
On my retirement, Brady. Go for it.
War Pig Williams, and I'm going to get to these. I just don't want to lose this. Okay, so they say they plan on taking Smith in the draft. Who do you get at wide receiver free agency to pair with him, and do you put Slayton in the slot? Slayton is definitely not a slot wide receiver. If you're going to put somebody on this team in the slot, it would be Shepard. In terms of, I don't – if you're going to take – I don't think you would take 2 wide receivers in the draft early. Maybe you take one in the 4th or 5th, but you take one, and maybe you sign one in free agency. It all depends if they fit into the budget. But, yeah, Slayton goes to the bench. If you're bringing 2 wide receivers, Shepard would be your slot receiver. In my opinion.
I agree.
And Benny, I'm going to read this. I'm going to get to these. Benny says, let's say the Giants had gotten the first pick. Do you think they would have picked a quarterback to replace Danny? By the way, big fan of both channels. Benny, man, thank you so much. 1,000%. If they had the first pick, Trevor Lawrence would be a New York Giant. Yes. Yep. No doubt about it. You don't pass up on quarterbacks like that.
Nope. Agreed.
Richard Welch, man, thank you very much. I would say good luck tomorrow, but we play each other. May the best team win. Hey, man, I completely get it, man. It's a huge game for both of us, so I wouldn't expect you to say good luck, man. But
with the Cowboys and Giants, it's probably made the worst team lose. Maybe not. You could say that about any team in the NFC. May the worst team lose.
Yeah, exactly. And
More fitting for this division.
Mark, man, thank you very much, man. This is the problem I have with not signing Barkley. He is the face of your franchise, and he's a big reason people watch the G-Men.
So was Beckham.
So was Beckham. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's not about jersey sales for me. It's about winning football games, and we'll see. It's impossible to talk about this right now. But if you're going to tell me that the Giants win 5 games again next year, they're showing no signs of improvement in the win column. How do you justify paying a running back $18 to $20 million when you need to rebuild the rest of your roster via the draft? And Barkley's my favorite player. I rushed out and bought his jersey immediately. But to me, that's what bad organizations do. Now, if they come to the conclusion and Barkley looks like a beast, like his rookie year, and Jones looks bad, I could understand justifying, listen, we're not going to have to pay a quarterback now because we're drafting one. Let's bring back Barkley to give that quarterback the best chance possible. To give him, set him up for the right foundation. So it's all going to come down to the way Barkley plays next year.
Yeah. Well,
he's got to prove that he's worthy. He's an elite running back. He hasn't played a full season in 2 years.
Well, listen, I'm also going to say this, Mark. A big reason why people watch the Giants is because they win. So whether Barkley's here or not, they start winning, people are going to watch. It doesn't matter who the face of the franchise is. We have to win games. Yeah, when you're a losing franchise, it's certainly people are going to go to watch players. When Beckham was here, we didn't win many games. People want to watch him. I know I wanted to watch him every week. I know when I watch the offense, I'm like, throw the ball to Beckham, throw the ball to Beckham, throw the ball to Beckham. Can't throw it to Beckham enough. I want to see Beckham with the ball. And it's the same thing when Barkley's healthy. Give it to Barkley, give it to Barkley, give it to Barkley, give it to Barkley. I understand. But winning fixes all that. People are going to watch if you're winning.
Winning cures all. And Papa Exotic says, why does everybody doubt the Giants? We're going to beat the Cowboys. Well, we've won 14 games in 3 years. That's why everybody doubts the Giants.
I'm not doubting them. I think that any given Sunday,
they could definitely win. Yeah.
We just have got to do what we did. We won 4 in a row. It's easier said than done. It's simple to say. It's not as easy to do. They have to execute, win time possession, run the ball, win turnover battle. They do that. Yeah. Dallas is not as good as these other 3 teams we played. They're not.
It's easy, like you just said. It's easy to know what we have to do. It's not necessarily easy to accomplish it.
Right. It's just like losing weight.
Yeah, exactly.
It's easy. It's a simple.
Exercise and eat properly. Not everybody could do it.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. Jeremy, man, thank you very much, man. Repping that Saquon Color Rush jersey tomorrow. W's. Jeremy, man, do what you got to do, man. Whatever it takes to get a win. DJ Smooth.
I was just going to say, Jeremy, if I can find mine, I'll rep that too. I have a Saquon Color Rush jersey.
I'm gonna go with the Saquon tomorrow too.
I can find that. I think it is hanging in the closet. I'm pretty sure it's up there. If I can find that, I'll go with that too.
DJ Smooth says Baker learned 3 different schemes. Look how he looks in 2020, guys. Offense is more explosive and creativity and motion is kill Judge seriously. I'll kill Judge seriously. Fair point you bring up, but what I'll say to that is he has the league's best running game. And he's got a great offensive line. Are we going to have that next year?
Listen, it's possible. If these guys develop, if your Lemieux and your Parrots and your Andrew Thomas develop, and Nick Gates continues to improve, and you got Zeitler there to tie it all together, and Barkley's 100% healthy, it could. Yeah. It could, because that's the way Cleveland's set up. Saquon Barkley is physically more talented. I loved Nick Chubb. Anyway, coming out of Georgia, I thought Nick Chubb was a very good runner. I liked Sonny Michel too. Obviously, Chubb is the better of the two. But, listen, if everything works out for the Giants, they could be built like Cleveland. And let's hope that's what happens.
That would be ideal. Just make sure. Write that. Chrissy the Snow Queen says, all jokes aside, super, and I'm going to get this one too, but this is the one I'm about to lose. All jokes aside, super DJ fans need to chill. If he's here, he's here. If not, I think Judge made the right decision. P.S. Stop the Eli slander. Eli's better than DJ. You're preaching to the choir, right?
Nah, Eli's quarterback.
You know what, man? I hope Daniel Jones, I'm not going to say it's impossible, because I think most people at this point in Eli's career would have said there's no way he's going to be better than Phil Simms. So I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I hope he proves me wrong. But right now, they're not even close.
I mean, we want Daniel Jones to be the best franchise quarterback ever. We want every quarterback that succeeds the next one to be the best one ever.
Yeah. And Chris Soquin says, team that could beat the Chiefs is the Dolphins. It's an interesting one you bring up. Listen, Tua is the quarterback now, right? Fitzpatrick, I think, did he get hurt or did he get the virus? I'm not 100% sure.
I forgot, but Tua is the QB.
Tua is the QB now. I don't think Tua is beating the Chiefs. I don't think Fitzpatrick or Tua is beating the Chiefs. And I have great respect for Brian Flores. I think he's a great head coach. I don't see it. I just don't. I think the Bills have the best chance. The Bills or the Ravens, because both of them can play defense and both of them could put up points. So I would lean towards the Ravens. I'm gonna tell you why, Baddog, that I think the Ravens, and I love the Bills. I think they've built that team properly. They've built that team amazing. Like, I want the Giants to build the team the same way. But the reason the Ravens have the best chance, in my opinion, is because they could run the ball better than anybody. Yeah. And they've got a really good defense. And if they could get out to a lead, they have the ability to be able to hold it because they could run that football and keep Pat Mahomes off the field.
You can run it with a variety of ways.
Yeah, so
you know, with Gus Edwards, you can do it with Lamar Jackson, you can do it with J.K. Dobbins. You can do it with a lot of play. And again, that's what makes Mark Andrews so effective is the play action, the RP, all that stuff's there. Mark Andrews is great. You know, Baltimore's a good team. Baltimore is a very good team. Like I said, they were before the season started. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. So obviously, I have a lot of confidence in them. But man, Kansas City's playing lights out. They're just unbelievable.
Listen, we all want that Pat Mahomes-like quarterback, but I'm going to tell you what right now. You're not – I say it all the time. You're not out Pat Mahomesing Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes has Andy Reid, all those weapons on that offense. It's not happening. The way to beat them, the 49ers showed you last year. They just lost, but they had an opportunity to win that game. Yep. That's how you beat them. You have to be able to run the football, and you have to have a stout defense with a good pass rush.
So the Raiders, the first time they played them too.
Yeah. That's how you're going to beat them. You're not going to out. You're not.
In fact, I don't know if it's happened since, but it may have happened after the second Raiders game because I don't get the Chiefs up here and I don't really follow them outside of just seeing the score. The Raiders are the only team to pick off Pat Mahomes this year. Twice. I don't know if he threw another interception, but it's pretty insane.
Well, Pat Mahomes, I think he's thrown the last couple of games. He's thrown a decent amount of picks. I think he's got 6 picks now. Yeah, he's falling up a little bit.
Yeah, he's like whatever.
Yeah, he's kind of just chilling right now. And Yo Elvis, man, thank you very much, man. Favorite player is Josh Allen, but love my Giants. Yeah, my favorite player is Barkley, but outside of the Giants, it is Rodgers. I've always liked Rodgers. I don't hide that. But Josh Allen is quickly moving up there. I've always liked Allen from the first time I saw him. He's just one of those guys that I am in awe when I watch the guy play. It was just a matter of getting it all together. You know, getting the right system, getting the accuracy down. He was always known as a guy that was a boom or bust, but if he hit, he was going to be a big boom, and you're seeing that this year. In my opinion, he's third in MVP. That's how good he's played this year. When you look at the numbers, what he's done, I love watching him play, and I would love to have a quarterback like that one day. The guy can put the team on his back. Mark says, if Ryan Day is hired by the Jags, will they take Fields? No. No matter who is hired by the Jags. Well, I shouldn't say that. You never know, Baddog. We've seen crazier things happen. Trevor Lawrence, 95% will be the first overall pick.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, not 95%. Ash Money, man, what's going on, buddy? He says, what's up, fellas? Said this to Chris on Twitter. Bringing in Corey Davis and Devontae, if we have the opportunity, would help a ton, both coming from the RPO. That's what you just said about Devontae.
Yeah. I agree, Ash Money. I agree.
Let me get your take on Corey Davis, because Giants fans seem to be split on him. What do you think of Corey Davis because he's not going to cost as much as Robinson. Robinson's going to cost you $19-20. What do you think of the 10 to 12 for Corey Davis? What do you think of that?
I get on board. He's just, I think if you're bringing in Devontae Smith, he's your number one. Yeah. I think Corey Davis is a solid number two. Then you have Shepard and Slayton. I think that definitely improves the wide receiver core. I definitely get on board. The only thing I definitely, again, and I think Corey Davis fits the system. I mean, you can bring in an Allen Robinson or a Galladay, but they're not going to fit here like Davis, and they're going to cost, like I said, an extra $8 million. If the Giants could get Corey Davis on a 4-year, $50 million deal, I'd bring him in here for sure. It would definitely, I mean, if you can get 2 wide receivers, because listen, again, the Giants need to do every single thing in their power to set Daniel Jones up for nothing but success in 2021 to know if they're going forward with him in the future.
Yep.
You don't want to leave 2021 with question marks saying, God, is it really just the fact we have no wide receivers and that the offensive line is bad? And then you're really torn between what the hell do we do with the guy? So, yeah, if you can draft one and bring in a Corey Davis, I'm game.
That's the mission. That's the mission. I want to go. I want to leave the 21 season saying to myself, I'm all in on Jones, or I'm gone. I don't want to feel the way I do now.
Exactly.
The way I feel now is I don't know. I'm leaning one way, but I don't know. I can't conclusively say it right now. I don't want to feel that way at the end of 2021. And the only way I'm not going to,
Giants, Chris. The Giants don't want.
and neither do the Giants. And the only way I'm going to feel that way is if they if they go out there and they get them some weapons. So
and you'll know. Then there's no excuses.
Yeah,
you'll know if he's the guy or not.
Yeah. And DJ Smooth, man, thank you very much, man. He says we should have took Herbert. Question. And I wish we got Brian. That's the guy in the Bills, right? If I'm not mistaken. As far as Herbert goes, we couldn't get Herbert. You know, people say like everybody wants to play, fantasy Madden.
We could have.
I mean, we could have, but Baddog.
You weren't. Jones had a good rookie season.
Jones had a good rookie year. We weren't taking a quarterback.
No,
Dave Gettleman was still the GM. We weren't taking a quarterback. It was never a possibility.
I agree.
It was never going to happen. Dylan, man, thank you very much, man. He says, if my Cards win tomorrow, we go to the playoffs. Now, Dylan, I could be wrong on this. I believe
the Bears
the Bears have the tiebreaker, right? Because right now they're the 7th seed.
Yes.
So maybe I'm mistaken, Dylan, but if you win and the Bears win against the Packers, which I'm picking the Packers, but if the Bears were to win, you're out.
Yes.
And maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think you are.
Bears need to lose. Cards.
Yeah, you need to win, and the Bears need to lose on Monday night. I think it is. 4:25 against the Packers. And DJ Smooth, man, thank you very much, man. Matt Capta, Chiefs quarterback coach for OC. Boom. DJ Smooth's coming up with all the answers. We'll see. We'll see. But here's what I'll say, DJ. To that, it's very possible the Chiefs just say, obviously the enemy's probably moving on. He's the quarterback coach. They may just say, because Reed calls the plays anyway. So they might just say, you're the quarterback coach. We're going to promote you to offensive coordinator. So we'll see how it plays out, man. But by the way, I haven't had a chance to say it because you guys have been incredible, man. We got over 700 people in here. First off, thank you guys for all the support, man. I can't wait for tomorrow. We're going to be streaming the game here tomorrow. And then we're going to continue the show as much as we can throughout the offseason. We'll be on Bad Dogs next week talking about hopefully talking about the playoffs.
Right, that'd be the best thing ever.
That would be the best thing ever. And if not, talking about the offseason. But we're going to continue the show. If you haven't done so, please go over to Bad Dog Sports. My mods can drop his link in the stream. Please go over there and check him out. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you guys for all your support. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any of these. Josh, man, thank you very much, man. Dolphins have to make the playoffs first. Yeah. Well, right now there's 4 teams tied for 3 spots, and I think the Colts, who I actually think, Bad Dog, out of all those teams, the Browns, the Colts, the Dolphins, and who's the other 10-5 team? Is the Browns, the Ravens.
Ravens.
I would say the Ravens are the best. I would say the Colts are the second best. But right now, the Colts are on the outside looking in.
Yep. They were talking about how the Ravens could win 11 games and be looking out, but now they have the tiebreaker. So The Ravens will get in with a win.
Yeah, the Colts are dangerous, though, if they get in. They have a really good defense, but they may not even make it. And the last time I remember an 11-win team missing the playoffs, I think it was the Patriots, the year that Brady went down.
Matt Kessler.
I think that was the last time, which is crazy. And let's see. And G-Man Rising, man, thank you very much. I think Chris calling him Tannehill / Casey Smith is fair. I think some fans really think DJ is Big Ben or Peyton, and to me, that sets him up for failure. G-Man, you hit it on the head. When you, it's just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own. But in my opinion, when you set the bar way too high for a player, you're only setting them up for failure.
You're setting yourself up for disappointment.
And you're setting yourself up for disappointment. So when I saw him, and that's what they said, and I'm not just agreeing with them because that's what they said. When they said that, and I watched the play, I said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know so much Alex Smith. He reminds me a lot of Ryan Tannehill. And if he becomes what Ryan Tannehill is now, that's beautiful. That's amazing. Ryan Tannehill right now is one of the top 6, 7, 8 quarterbacks in the league. But he never had Peyton potential. And anybody who says that, in my opinion, is just setting the bar way too high. You're setting yourself up for disappointment.
I don't know how you can, and I'm not just talking about Daniel Jones. I'm talking about any quarterback. I'm talking about Trevor Lawrence. I'm talking about anybody that's coming out of college, no matter how high of a prospect you are. How can you compare a guy to one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the history of the NFL coming out of the draft? That's not fair to any quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I have made the comparison to Alex Smith because I feel like Daniel Jones's skill set is very similar to Alex Smith. More mobile, not the strongest of arms.
I think he's got a better arm than Smith, though.
I do too, not by much, but he's accurate too. Alex Smith has always been very accurate. Daniel Jones is very accurate too.
Yeah.
But I just feel like Daniel Jones he doesn't trust people around him. He doesn't trust himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't play with confidence. I see that every week. And every time he drops back, I don't have confidence because I can tell he doesn't have confidence. Confidence goes a long way in any position in pro sports. It doesn't matter how good or bad you are. Confidence means
anything in life, picking up women.
It's true. Women love a confident guy. Actually, I think I told you. The guy said to me in my video, he's like, "You think very highly of yourself, don't you?" I said, "Yes, I do." There's nothing wrong with being confident. You should be.
Yeah.
What are you going to think poorly about yourself? You're not getting anywhere in life like that. I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I don't think anybody's better than me. And you should never go around going, "Well, that guy's better than me," or "That girl's too good for me." What? How the hell are you ever going to get ahead in life? You're like, "Oh, well, they're too good for me." Come on, man. I don't work. But, it's just like a cornerback. A cornerback in the NFL has to have the shortest memory of anybody because cornerbacks are going to get burned.
Yep.
And then they got to get right back out there and say, that didn't happen.
Yep.
Quarterbacks got to do the same thing. Daniel Jones fumbles, get back out there, act like it didn't happen.
Quarterback's tough.
But don't sit there and think about it.
Yeah, especially if you play in New York, it's even tougher.
Because you're going to the more you think, the more you're going to hesitate. You hesitate, you're done.
Zahid, man, thank you very much. He says, let's forget KC, Buffalo, and Baltimore for a sec. Who are the sleeper teams to make the final game? Are we talking just AFC? Because you said KC, Buffalo, Baltimore. Outside of those three,
Miami.
I'm done with the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers are going on some kind of Super Bowl run, even though they do have a good defense. I'm done with. I don't believe in the Steelers. I think they're kind of falling off. If I had to pick a team outside of that, I would actually pick the Colts if they got in. I believe in their defense. I believe in their offensive line. I think they have the ability to control the clock. They have a really good run game. If I had to pick a fourth team, I would pick the Colts.
Miami for me. They were my sleeper before the year started.
Yeah.
And in the NFC was the Cardinals. Those are my two deep sleepers. So, again, I'm just sticking with it because they're still there. So I will stick with those guys.
Yeah. And maybe the Browns because the same thing. They could control the clock. They could run the football. So JD says, which outcome would you prefer? Giants making the playoffs with a first-round exit or a top 10 pick that turns into a Pro Bowl wide receiver and changes DJ's career? Well, of course, JD. If I know ahead of time, like before the game starts tomorrow, I know we're going to get the next Julio Jones and Daniel Jones is going to become one of the top 8 quarterbacks in the league because of it, I want to lose. But there's no way of knowing that. You can't know that. You can't know that. So
you don't know anything.
Yeah. Of course.
That's hypothetical. I mean, obviously you'd rather not make the playoffs and set yourself up for your quarterback to change his career.
Yeah. I mean, you could, yeah, sure, but there's no way of knowing that. There's no guarantees.
How do you even know the top 10 pick is offense? What if they go Micah Parsons or Greg Rousseau?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Pat Surtain?
Very possible. G-Man Rising, man, thank you very much. If Jason Garrett were back with DJ in 21, I'd be fine with it. People could talk about Baker, but he is one example out of many failures. 3 systems, 3 years is usually bad. It's almost always bad.
Yeah.
It's almost always bad.
You're not helping your quarterback out like that.
It's almost always bad. There's examples, but let's talk about. I mean, I said it earlier. There's probably not. If I had to guess, maybe it's not the best. You could probably argue Brady might have the best situation with the Bucs. I mean, they've got a great offensive line. They got great weapons. He's one of the top 3 or 4 situations in football. Baker Mayfield. He just is.
That's what I said. Hopefully, that's what the Giants become.
Yeah. So. Give Jones that supporting cast, and yeah, maybe he can get it done in a third system in 3 years. Mayfield was set up very well this year.
They picked up in the line. I mean, they got Wills. They signed Conklin. The hell, we got 3 rookies. Hopefully, they improve. And Nick Gates looks like he's gotten a lot better. So that's what you hope. And then you hope Barkley's 100% next year and he plays every game. That's what we got to hope for. We got to hope all the pieces are in place. That they get better, and that they end up being what Cleveland is now.
Not to mention, Stefanski's a very good play caller. That's why he got the job. He was a great play caller with the Vikings. Nick, man, thank you very much. He says, everyone is sleeping on the pass rusher in the first. I'm not sleeping on it. But there's, to my knowledge, everything that I read, there's 2 now. Now they're talking about another guy. But Aeon says, DJ A-Rob could be our Alan Diggs, call me crazy. Actually, I saw it there. I didn't want to lose that, but I'll pull it up in a second. Let me just make sure I don't lose any of these because they're coming up fast. Xerox says, it's safe to say Sam Darnold won't be the starting quarterback for the Jets next year. Do you think the Giants might pick him up?
No.
No, definitely not. No. He just didn't work in New York. Wouldn't work. Next year, I think they're going forward with Jones.
And not to mention, Sam Darnold's on the last year of his rookie contract next year. It would make no sense. He's not in a better situation.
And he makes a lot of money.
Right.
For a backup, he makes a lot of money. Mike, man, thank you very much. Jason Garrett is the 2021 version of Shermer, the scapegoat. I kind of agree. I said last year, and I'm not saying Shermer didn't deserve to lose his job. He's a bad head coach. But Shermer was the scapegoat last year. He took the blame for a lot of things he maybe didn't deserve to take the blame for. And I think we're starting to see that come fruition. And, yeah, Garrett is the scapegoat. He's the guy that's taking all the blame. I agree with you on that. And he doesn't deserve as much as some people are leading on. JB, thank you very much, man. Would love for the Giants to go after Phil Longo. JB12 says. Okay. Thank you very much. Xerox says, Logan Ryan thinks he's a GM. Watch out. Get him.
Yeah, he can recruit guys.
Okay. I mean, I love it. I love the mentality. He's a team-first guy. Definitely a guy that you want to have on the team. A leader. That only goes so far. There's a thing called cap space in the NFL. That only goes so far, and the Giants don't have a lot of it. So maybe you could bring in one player. Maybe you could help bring in one player, but that's about it.
The other thing I was going to say, though, about sleeping in the first round, Nick, I don't think that's the case. But like we mentioned, you got to set Daniel Jones up for nothing but success in 2021. That is the most important position on your team. That position is going to cost the most on your team. You want to make sure that you are 100% in or 100% out after 2021. You cannot go in, like Chris said, feeling, maybe if we did this for him, he'd be better. Maybe. We're still not sold either way. You can't have that after next year. That's why I think everybody's talking about wide receiver. That has been everybody's biggest contention. We got no wide receivers. None of these guys can get separation. Give them a weapon.
Yep.
So that's why I think people are really just talking up the wide receivers. And I'm not a guy that wants to take a wide receiver in the top 10, but I completely understand it in this draft that that's the direction that they want to go.
I think you have to. In my opinion, that's how desperate I think we are at this point. Dylan says, if us and the Bears win, the Rams are out. Okay, so the Rams would lose the tiebreaker if you would. Okay, so you're in regardless. Okay, so I didn't know that. So if the Rams could still get in if you beat them and the Bears lose. So it would be between the Rams and the Bears if the Cardinals were to beat the Rams. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
I guess that loss to the Jets really killed the Rams.
Yeah. Cameron Dog says, just happy for meaningful football in January. That's all you can ask for going into this year. Ash Money says, thoughts on Chris? I don't know enough about him. I mean,
Chris Olave?
Yeah, I don't know enough about him.
Olave's really good. Yeah. I don't know if he's a first-round guy. He might be an early second-round guy, but Chris Olave's really good wide receiver. He's not a game changer, but again, maybe that's the guy that New England could use. They could use a Chris Olave. I'm trying to think of who else could use a Chris Olave. The Bengals aren't taking him. But if the Bengals want to take him in the second round to go with because A.J. Green's getting older, they want to take Penei Sewell and then Chris Olave in the second round and to pair him up with T. Higgins, I think that'd be good. I think Cincinnati, they're picking fifth right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if Penei Sewell will even fall there, but just say they did. They'd be picking, 37th, 38th, 36th?
Yeah.
Kind of where the same spot they got T. Higgins last year. They could get Chris Olave. I think that'd be a great landing spot for him, honestly. And he'd stay in Ohio. So there you go.
Big Bang says, ready for another losing streak to end tomorrow. I'm with you, man. Let's get a W tomorrow. And I missed one, so I apologize for that. Zahib says, I don't think I've ever seen a white cornerback. Well, then you're not old enough. Jason Sehorn, New York Giants.
Jason Sehorn was the man.
Yeah, one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't play that long ago. He was playing in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
one of my top 5 favorite Giants of all time. I say it all the time. I got a Jason Sehorn jersey that's older than half of my subscribers. I think it's 23 years old.
Yeah, but there's I get what he's getting at. There's not. I think he's probably the last big impact white cornerback.
He could be.
It probably was, but yeah. L.A. Lou, man, thank you very much. He says, hey, I was accidentally timed out. I popped my cherry. I got to get your wrench, Lou, when I get an opportunity. Sorry about that. He says, I feel like I took my first bullet or got pinched for my first collar. Gonna have a root beer. So I apologize if it was that. Like I said, I got to look over my mods. It sounds
It was
like there's.
Punkham did it. I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. Punkham did not mean to do that. I know he didn't. So.
Yeah, no, I know pumpkin.
Right. Yeah.
Wouldn't do that. Ion Paul says, would you guys be for trading for Julio Jones? No chance in hell for me when I trade for Julio Jones.
No, he's old. He's injured. You don't want we don't need an aging veteran. Julio Jones, yeah, and he's getting paid a fortune.
Yeah.
Julio Jones is the type of guy you bring into a team like that when they brought in Amari Cooper. Of course, Cooper's a lot younger too, but that's like a guy that's just like, we need this piece we're already a Super Bowl contender. He's an addition. Kind of like the Ravens did with Dez Bryant.
Yeah.
Really what that is.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was really a punch in the gut to have Dez Bryant score a touchdown against us. That was tough, Chris. Ever seen this stupid thing? I forgot Dez Bryant was even in the league.
Yeah. He scored a touchdown the week before too, I think. But listen. I'm completely. Julio Jones makes zero sense whatsoever. He's old. He's injury prone. Everybody that's bringing up Odell Beckham, and Odell Beckham would be more feasible than Jones. But either way, neither makes sense to me. Everybody that's bringing up Julio Jones, everybody that's bringing up Odell Beckham, the goal that the New York Giants should have is to bring in a wide receiver as talented as them on a rookie deal. Draft the next Julio Jones.
Absolutely no sense.
He's damaged goods.
That's like saying bring in AJ Green.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. He's the name at this point.
There's so many other receivers that are going to give you way more than Julio's going to give. That makes no sense.
Zero, man. Thank you so much, man, for the incredible generosity, man. I really appreciate it, man. He says, love watching both of you. I'm the biggest British Giants fan. There's a lot of them. So there's a competition there. We have a lot of great
a lot of UK guys.
UK Giants fan. Would love to join you one day to talk football. Keep up the great work. Yeah, Xerox, that's something. I'll probably do that a little bit more in the offseason. And maybe I'll have, rather than having random guests, I may have it more organized where I just have, 2 or 3 subs come on and we talk all night. But yeah, I love doing that. I love having you guys on the channel whenever I can, man. And for sure, man, message. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter. If you do, reach out to me on Twitter, man. Yeah, for sure. I'd love to have you on, man. Thank you so much, man, for being such a great supporter, man. I really appreciate it. Let's get a W for you tomorrow, man.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I love the fact that we have such a following in the UK. I think that's awesome. I always wondered where the following in the UK came from. And then I realized, Chris might even mention it. We played the first ever game in London against Miami in 2007. And that was Eli's longest touchdown run of his career. In that game, we won a very ugly game, 13-10. And then
I remember that game.
And then we went back and we beat the Rams in 2016. Probably the best game Landon Collins ever had for us. Kind of put himself on notice there against the Rams. Had 2 interceptions, had the big touchdown return where he ran all the way across the field. So I think that could be why, which is cool. But I love it. Obviously, Stephen Lilly, he's a guy that's been with us forever. Belly 81. There's so many, and I think that's so cool that there's so many guys from the UK, that follow us.
The sport's getting big there.
It is. Cool.
Ever since the NFL's made it a focal point to try to grow there, the sport's definitely growing in the UK, which is good. It's great for the sport. DJ Smooth, man, thank you very much, man. We need to hire a college OC ties with Judge. Well, I don't know how many college OCs are going to have ties with Joe Judge. I mean, Joe Judge has been in the NFL now for, 8 years or so? He was with the Patriots for about 6 or 7 years. He was with Alabama for a bit, but I don't know how many are going to have ties with Judge. O'Shea makes a lot of sense to me, and that's a guy that people have talked about. He's got ties to Judge. And we took half the coaching staff from Miami. He was the offensive coordinator with Miami in 2019. I don't know how many are going to have ties to Judge. We'll see. We'll see what they decide to do. Garrett may still very well be back. I'm starting to lean that they'll move on, but we'll see. I'm going to leave it up to Judge. Like I said, same thing with the general manager. I'm not going to bitch. I'm not going to moan. Baddog and me are kind of in agreement with the general manager. I think we both agree, and I think it has as much to do for you as with Jones and Judge as it does for Gettleman. You don't, and the situation you'd be putting the new GM in. You don't want to put him into a situation that's not ideal because you limit your hiring candidates. But listen, if the Giants feel like they have a guy that works well with Judge, and Judge feels like he doesn't work that well with Gettleman and he wants to think long term, I'm going to support it. And because at the end of the day, Gettleman's doesn't have more than maybe 2 or 3 years at most left with this team. He's a cancer survivor. He's up there in age. The guy that we hope is here for 20 years is Joe Judge.
Right.
So you want to make it as ideal as you can. It seems like Judge liked working with him. It seems like they worked well together this offseason, but I'm not going to cry if they make that move.
I say the thing. They keep him, I'm not going to cry about it. They fire him, I'm not going to cry about it. I understand both sides of the argument. Like I said in my video, I just think that it does not make sense to alternate GMs and head coaches. And if you bring in a new GM, you're starting over because I can't imagine. Like Chris said, a GM's going to want to pick his own players, and when you're stuck with a Saquon and a Daniel Jones, that doesn't give that guy much room to maneuver, and he might not want those guys, and he might tell ownership, "Listen, if I'm coming in here, I want Trey Lance. I want to trade up and get Trey Lance, or I want to trade up and get Zach Wilson. I want a quarterback."
You know what I think is the most ironic thing about all this? I'm not saying all of them. A lot of people want Jones gone, but a lot of the people that are so heavy about moving on from Gettleman are heavy Daniel Jones supporters.
I know.
That makes no sense.
Well, they don't.
The only guy in Daniel Jones's corner at this point is Dave Gettleman.
Right, and I think a lot of people say that's because he didn't draft wide receivers this year. But guys, he did the best thing he could do for Daniel Jones, and that's fix the offensive line, or at least try to. Your wide receivers don't mean anything if your quarterback's picking himself up off the turf every time. I know Daniel Jones got hit a lot this year, but again, these guys are rookies. You're hoping that that's for the future. You build – I say it all the time. You build a team from the inside out. You don't build it from the outside in. You don't come in here with corner safeties and wide receivers. You have to build in the trenches first. You got to protect that guy. And then once you have that down, then you add those wide receivers. The Giants have been doing it backwards for years. This is why we're not winning games.
I agree. I mean, everybody has their own opinion, but I always say we had a lot of holes in the boat. The Giants looked at it. We got to fix the defense. We got to fix the offensive line. It's not a one-year process. People that are complaining about the wide receiver, it's not a one-year process. This year is the year that they will probably turn to the wide receiver, but you couldn't expect them to fix all their problems in one offseason.
No.
Yeah.
You can't.
It's impossible.
I agree.
And they tore it down. When you tear it down, you've got a lot of holes. You start from scratch. That's what a rebuild is. Xerox, man, thank you very much, man. Live in LA now. Go Giants.
Hell yeah, baby.
I appreciate it, buddy. DJ Smooth says, what if I tell you Wilson is better than Zach Wilson? You're not talking about Russell Wilson. He might be.
Wilson is better.
Yeah, well, Russell Wilson, of course. Zach Wilson, he might be. But you don't know. Like there's been so many guys. It's easy to say that when they're in college, and I know he's got great physical attributes, but you don't know until they enter the pros.
Plays in a very weak conference too.
Yeah, I mean he definitely has a high ceiling. I would agree with you on this. He has a higher ceiling than Daniel Jones. I'd agree with you on that.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, but in terms of him being a definitive better quarterback, there's no way of knowing that. I cannot say that. Bobby, man, thank you very much, man. Devontae Smith gives me Julio Jones vibes. Very physical, tall threat that wins at the point of attack. My only concern, he's only 6'1", right, Smith? Julio's what, 6'4"?
Yeah, Julio's big.
Yeah. My only concern is his frame, and yeah, he's only about 190 pounds also. He'll have to put on a little bit of weight, but I don't know if Julio is the best comparison. I'd have to think about it. I don't know if Julio's the best comparison, though.
Yeah, I don't know either.
He's a hell of a receiver.
Last year, I don't know if it was him. I can't remember because it might have been Jalen Waddle, but they talked about Reggie Wayne. That's pretty good comparison.
That's not a bad one.
So I take Reggie Wayne.
That's not a bad one.
I like Devontae Smith. I just think and this was even before the game last night. I was talking about Devontae Smith being a Giant because again, I just the two conferences I watched the most are the Big 12, obviously being a Sooner fan, and the SEC because I think it's the best conference in football. Although the ACC was a lot better this year, because Notre Dame was in it, North Carolina, which just gave Texas A&M a hell of a run for its money, and Clemson. I just think Devontae Smith fits our system very, very well. And if Jamar Chase played this year and blew it up, I'm so concerned about a guy that takes
a year off.
Jadeveon Clowney didn't take a year off, but he kind of did.
Yeah, he more or less did.
And he never became the player that he was at South Carolina. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think that's reasonable. Zahai, man, thank you very much. He says, guys, I think we got to keep Judge no matter how the 2021 season ends.
Judge, definitely.
I think he means for 2022, so he's not just talking next year, the year after. But I still say definitely. It would be a big blow to the franchise to let him go regardless of the GM. I think he's the guy. I said when he took the job, minimum 3 years. And I personally want at least 4, but minimum 3 years. You can't keep flipping coaches every 2 years. You can't do it. It just makes it an even worse situation for the next coach to come on. But what I will say is this. If they do bring in a new GM, and maybe he has ties to Judge, we'll see. I'm not saying he'll be fired after next year, but he enters the 2022 season on the hot seat if the Giants don't have a good year in 2021. But I think he's going to get at least 3 years. I think he will get 3 years.
I think the Giants will be much better next year.
I agree.
I do.
I do too. I think we'll be competitive next year. G-Man Rising, man, thank you very much, man. Chris, finally someone said it. Dave Gettleman is a Daniel Jones supporter. We don't know how Judge really feels. Bringing back Dave Gettleman is the best for DJ fans. New GMs want their guy. That's what I find ironic, G-Man, because I talk to a lot of guys that I feel are heavy DJ fans, and they want to move on from Gettleman. I'm a guy that's supporting Daniel Jones because I think it's in the best interest for the team right now based off where I think we're going to be picking, and I think he hasn't been given the proper situation to succeed. So I think he could become the guy. I don't know yet. But for people that are convinced that Daniel Jones is the guy, there are so many of those people that want to run Dave Gettleman out of town. That's Daniel Jones' security blanket right now. Mm-hmm. If you're a person that thinks Daniel Jones is absolutely the guy, the worst thing for Daniel Jones, in my opinion, would be Dave Gettleman getting fired.
Listen, I made a video at the beginning of last year, 40 years started, saying Trevor Lawrence would be a possibility for the Giants. And the reason I said that is because if the Giants are picking first overall, Gettleman's gone. And once your GM is gone, new GM comes in, and you're going to start over. You're going to start over with a quarterback. Unless you have a superstar guy. Unless your quarterback's Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson. Unless you have that absolute, no doubt, top 5 quarterback in the league, new GM is going to say, if there's any doubt, he's going to go, nope, we're going to start this over with my guys. We're going to start with the quarterback. We're going to get rid of him.
Yeah. Zahai, man, they
not be safe with a new GM.
No. And if he was, it would be for 1 year, kind of like Eli. It was 1 year, and then Gettleman brought in his guy. Zahai, man, thank you very much. Random, you guys remember running back David Wilson? What do you think his potential was? Saw him write a comment on the New York Giants Instagram page. Yeah, we've talked about him a lot. I don't think he was ever a Barkley-like talent, but David Wilson had top 5, 6 running back type ability in the league. He had a fumbling problem, but he was explosive. He was really good. You could use him in special teams. He's a pass catcher. It was a shame what happened to him, but yeah, he was immensely talented. He went first round. The Giants don't typically draft. Well, they do historically, but Jerry Reese didn't typically draft first round running backs, and that wasn't really the Giants' mindset when Reese was here. They were kind of one of the first teams to really adopt that committee approach strongly. Obviously, the Patriots were really the first to jump on it, but they obviously felt very strongly about him. They drafted him in the first round, had a lot of ability.
I mentioned David Wilson a lot. I do think that he had Saquon Barkley type of talent. You
think that highly?
Yeah. I saw the guy in person.
Yeah.
I saw him, and I say this all the time. When I went to training camp last year, I was there. And it was 2012. It was the last year they were in Albany. Unfortunately, it's hard to believe it's been 8 years. I missed the hell out of that team. I used to go up there for 3 weeks. I'd take 3 weeks off in the summer. I'd save all my vacation time. I'd go up there every day, or almost every day. That guy moved at a different speed. And I went there for years. I never saw a player move with that kind of speed, agility, the quick cut. He was just a different specimen.
Yeah.
He was like 5'11", 6'4". He's like 220. He was built like Saquon's a little bigger. Wilson was faster. David Wilson tried out for the Olympics going into the triple jump. That's how athletic this guy was. He was.
Well, I remember his touchdown celebration. He'd do a backflip in full pads.
Yeah, he was. It is a shame. I thought he was going to be so good. Yeah, the fumbling problem at the beginning of the year definitely hurt him. He fumbled twice against Dallas, and then he got called in doghouse. He never really got out of it, and then the neck injury just sucked. You could say the same thing about Saquon Barkley. He's had 2 injuries that just suck. No career-ending injuries yet, but I loved Dave. I was a big big fan of Dave Wilson.
You and me both, man. Yeah, it was unfortunate.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of it's bad luck too. Like we rag on Reese. He had some bad luck. You know, I'll be fair. He had some bad luck. That was one of them. Same thing with Gettleman. He's had some bad luck. It's part of the gig.
Yeah.
Nikki, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Devontae Smith is 175, but looks like he put on. Okay, I thought I read that he was 190, but I guess he's only 175. Looks like he put on pounds this year, and will probably add more for the combine. Marvin Harrison, I think, is the comp. Roll Tide. Nick, man,
Wasn't Harrison a tall guy too?
What?
Wasn't Marvin Harrison like 6'3"?
He might have been. I don't remember. I know he went to Syracuse. I can't remember how tall he was.
Harrison was taller. I could be wrong.
Maybe
I think you're one of those guys. I don't care.
Marvin Harrison, one of the top 5 wide receivers who ever lived.
Yeah, I would love that.
I mean, obviously Peyton Manning helped, but
it certainly does.
Yeah. DJ Smooth, man, thank you very much, man. An outsider going to want a quarterback.
Nope, he was 6 foot. So there you go. Maybe that is his. Reggie Wayne was the same size though. But either one of them. Yeah, good.
Both of them worked well with Peyton. Is an outsider going to want a quarterback? I mean, DJ Smooth, it's only to me, it's only common sense. An outsider, for everybody that wants an outsider, and I'm not telling you you're wrong. I understand where you're coming from, and maybe that's what they'll do. You better be ready for patience, because an outsider is going to do what Gettleman did. Unless it works, maybe it works, but if it does, he's going to blow up the team, and you're going to start again from square one. That's what will happen. That's what outsiders do. It's about buying themselves time. And by buying yourself time, you draft your quarterback, you bring in your guys, you get rid of that guy's guys. That's the way it works.
Put it this way. If a new GM comes in here, the new GM may not take a quarterback. But at the same time, the new GM cannot be told you can't take a quarterback.
Yeah.
The new GM has to be able to take who he wants.
Yeah.
So if the new GM came in here and he did say, we're picking 8th, I'm going to trade up to 5th with Cincinnati because I want a quarterback and I want Trey Lance, or I want one of those guys. I want Zach Wilson. And he's going to give up a 2nd-round pick to move up there. You have to let him do it. You got to let that GM, you got to let him have free reign. You cannot come in there with restrictions because, again, like Chris said, you're not going to get the best guy for the job. You're going to get guys by default. Yep. You don't want that guy.
Yep. Hey, and as much as we support Gettleman, we say he's far from perfect. He might have been a default guy.
Could have been.
Gettleman might have been one of the guys willing to accept Eli Manning. Yep. And we will never know. There may have been better candidates willing to take this job had the Giants not have. Again, we're guessing. We don't know for sure, but we assume that the ownership wanted Eli Manning. And if you do the same thing this time around, what do you think is going to happen? You're not going to end up with the ideal candidate.
Right.
You just won't. Dave, man, thank you very much, man. No, I agree. Even if Dave Gettleman is fired, Judge has said that he loves DJ. I think DJ has a lot of potential, and Judge sees it too. No way DJ is gone.
Real quick, a coach will never come out and say, I don't have confidence in the guy.
Yeah,
I don't believe in him. You're never going to hear that. A coach will never say he doesn't have faith in his players. It doesn't matter if he does. He won't do that. Remember Dave Gettleman. We don't give up on talent. We didn't sign him to trade him. Mojo Beckham was gone.
Here's what I'll say, Mr. Gettleman, which I'm sure you're hoping you keep your job, Mr. Gettleman. Batsy Dubs, man, stand up, new member. Welcome to the channel. Here's what I'll say. In terms of that, I don't think they'll move on this year from Jones. But I don't think it has much to do with the new GM coming in liking Jones or being in love with Jones. I think it has to do with the draft position. I think it has to do with the fact that the best player available will not be a quarterback when they pick. And they're going to look at the rest of the team. They're going to see an opportunity to fix the rest of it. But if they were picking 2nd, 3rd, and a new GM came in, you bet your ass they'd take Justin Fields, or they would strongly consider it. New GMs realize that's what they're judged off of. The guy who, it's just common sense. The guy who drafted the quarterback is, for everybody that says that Dave Gettleman's not going to draft a wide receiver, they worry about that. What do you think Dave Gettleman's going to do? Dave Gettleman knows his job security relies on Daniel Jones.
Yep.
He's going to do everything in his power to make sure Daniel Jones is successful. He knows his legacy.
He took the line this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's why he took the line.
I mean, I guess the 2nd round they could have reached for Pittman. We picked before Indianapolis, right? They could have taken Michael Pittman. They could have taken Chase Claypool. They could have went wide receiver instead of Xavier.
2nd round. Could have.
You could knock him for that. Obviously, hindsight being 2020, you can look and go, well, T. Higgins.
We all love that pick, though, if we're being fair, on draft night.
You did love that pick. I loved it. But I'm saying hindsight being 2020, McKinney got a broken foot, missed a lot of time. And obviously, he didn't help DJ's development. So Chase Claypool's killing it. Michael Pittman's had a good year. You can definitely go, well, we should have done that. Okay. You can always second guess the GM.
Yeah.
But Chris and I are both in agreement on this. There's no doubt in my mind, this was the best offseason Dave Gettleman had. I thought he did well in the draft. He did what he had to do. You got to protect your quarterback. He did that. He went out there and took 3 linemen, and he tried to fix the defense. And he had a very good offseason by getting Bradbury Martinez and tackle. Yeah. I think he did a good job this year. It hasn't translated onto the field, unfortunately. We had a brutal schedule. We were competitive in a lot of these games. You know, all the excuses you make for Daniel Jones about, well, it's COVID, well, it's a new system, you can make for Dave Gettleman too.
And Jason Garrett and Joe Judge.
Yeah. It's a team thing, guys. Yeah, I know these guys are your coaches, take a brunt of it. Quarterback takes a brunt of it, but it's a team thing.
Listen, all you got to do is look at, and I said this in one of my videos, I think it was earlier this week. I was looking at the strength of schedule, and I said, wow, that's weird. The Giants' strength of schedule this year is right around 500. I think it's 504. Which I thought it'd be worse. I thought it'd be
the NFC East.
They played the NFC East. And if you look at their schedule outside of the NFC East, 8 teams out of the 10 are in the playoffs right now if the season ended today. The year before, 4 teams out of 10.
There you go.
The schedule was much harder this year.
I see Giants fans said the Colts picked 34. I thought they picked before us, but I wasn't positive. So, okay, we couldn't have got Pittman, but you get my point. They could have
receivers.
Yeah. They could have went receivers. Yeah.
Dio, man, thank you very much. Do you think Saquon will be the same? It's impossible to know until we see him on the football field. What I will tell you is there's been running backs, and I saw a list of it. There's more than just Adrian Peterson. There's been running backs that have sustained that injury and come back and been good.
He should be fine.
Yeah, and if there's any player in the NFL that can, you see the physical shape that guy's in.
Remember, tendons do not get stronger. I don't give a damn how strong you are, vascularly or muscularly or whatever, your musculature, whatever you want to. The tendon, that don't matter. The tendons are the tendons. They don't get stronger. All tendons do is get weaker. They never get stronger. They only get weaker. So, but when you have surgery like that, it usually comes from a different tendon. At least in the elbow, it does, right? You take a tendon from like your ankle or something, put it in your elbow. Maybe it actually makes your elbow stronger. I don't know if that's the case with an ACL injury. I think he'll be fine. He's young. It's not like he's 34.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I think he may get hurt again, but I think I hopefully not. I think he'll rebound from it.
His exposure will still be there.
Yeah. Nicky, man, thank you very much, man. He says, yeah, we're going to close that about 5 or 10 minutes. We started a little later, so I'm going a little later. He says, you fools are really about to be live in 12 hours. You really are the absolute best. Tomorrow's a win-win. Playoffs are Devontae Smith. Tied. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like I want to win. I definitely want to win with the playoffs on the line. But if we do lose, which hopefully we don't, I will recognize the benefit from it.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking at going in. Gabriel, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, I support Dave Gettleman and Daniel Jones with all my life, but should have drafted Josh Allen instead of Saquon. Yeah.
Josh Allen had a bad rookie season. Josh Allen was completed about 50% of his pass, 52, turned the ball over like crazy. Right? If Josh Allen came into the situation that we had,
yeah,
he would have failed. Right?
I say the same thing.
He wouldn't have been the same player. You got to understand the situation to go to. And remember, Josh Allen struggled his first 2 years in the league. Now, he got a little bit better last year, but he was inconsistent. You added Stephon Diggs to a team that was already kind of built around him. He became really good. It would have taken a lot longer here. He would have been in the same situation Daniel Jones, no offensive line, no wide receivers, and no running back at all. He would have had Wayne Gallman. It would have been the same thing.
I'll be the first to say I think Josh Allen's a better quarterback, but I agree with Baddog.
I'm not.
But I agree with Baddog that Josh Allen would not be Josh Allen. The same Josh Allen you see with the Bills right now, you would not be seeing that with the New York Giants.
I'm definitely not saying that he's not better than Daniel.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong there. He's way more talented. Absolutely.
The Bills set him up perfectly, though. Yep. I did a video on this in the offseason last year, and I compared. Go back. I don't have the video on me, but I actually thought it was a really good video. I compared the situation that the Bills had going into the 2019 offseason to the situation the Jets had going into the 2019 offseason. And the situations were nearly identical. The Bills going into the 2019 offseason had a lot of cap space, as did the Jets. Both of them were coming off subpar seasons. Both of them had underperforming quarterbacks in their rookie years. The Bills went out there and they spread their money around and they spent the bulk of it on fixing the offensive line year 2. And they brought him in a couple of nice pieces. They brought him in Beasley, Brown, but they didn't go hog wild with guys like Le'Veon Bell and C.J. Mosley. The Jets elected to go for the guys that are going to sell jerseys, and they didn't fix the offensive line.
And remember, they tried to get Anthony Barr as well, and they had him, and he turned him down.
Yeah, and the Bills did it right. The Bills, and you didn't really see that offensive line really fully, get to the form they are now until the second year. They needed continuity.
What happens with Daniel Jones?
Which is what you hope happens with Daniel Jones next year. Now, I'm not telling you he's as talented as Allen. He's not.
No.
But I think it's a similar approach that the Giants have taken that the Bills took. They went offensive line.
I feel like we should have taken Josh Allen instead of Daniel Jones, the pass rusher.
Yeah, for sure. And T-Man, thank you very much, man. Quarterbacks connect regularly with little separation. If Daniel Jones could pull the trigger sooner, a lot of problems disappear. So what's wrong? And can it be fixed? Well, that's the golden question.
That's instinctual. And you can fix it for a minute, but you're always going to go back to your instincts. And that's what scares me more than anything else about Daniel Jones. I don't feel like his instincts are good. It's my biggest knock on him.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if he matures. We hope he does.
Oh, he does.
Josh, man, thank you very much. We should have drafted Nelson over Saquon. I agree. I mean, hindsight 2020, I agree with that. But I always go back to that. And yes, of course, right now, Nelson would have been the better pick. Long-term pick would have been could you imagine Nelson, Thomas? You got a really nice nucleus there on the offensive line. But yeah. I go back to it. The Giants couldn't have won there unless they traded down. There was no winning there because if you take a guard there, guards don't get picked second overall. Matter of fact, you could argue that it is more likely to take a running back second overall than a guard. And the Giants still wouldn't have been a good team in 2018 and 2019 had they taken Nelson. So people would have complained about that. And if Barkley turned out good on the Browns, people would have complained about us taking Nelson. So the Giants were in a losing situation there, almost no matter what. Because if they take Darnold, it's probably a failure. If they take Rosen, it's definitely a failure. They weren't taking Lamar Jackson. Nobody was doing that. Maybe you could argue they take Josh Allen, but like Baddog said, Josh Allen's not Josh Allen with the New York Giants. He's not the same Josh Allen. The Giants were in a really tough spot there. The best option would have been to trade down, but we can't live in the past.
Right. I think if you put Josh Allen on the team that there is there now, I think we have a couple more wins than we have now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. VT and don't forget, Josh Allen also got great offensive play callers. Like people are raving about the offensive play callers that the Bills brought in there this year. So that has an impact too.
It does.
VT Jake, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, trying to ask for time off on Sunday playoff game if the Giants win. Does anyone know what date that Sunday is, number 4? I
play on Saturday. We don't know.
Jake, I'll tell you what. Tomorrow, I'll have the answer for you. I'll look it up. I'll try to remember. But it's either Saturday or Sunday. I don't know what day it would be, but they probably have if you look it up, if you type in playoff schedule, they probably have the 4 versus 5, which is where we'd be and tell you, what
I don't think they do yet because I saw somebody post something about the Saints and how if the Saints play on the 9th, Kamara can't play. If they play on the 10th, he can't. He's not clear to play on a Saturday, but he's clear to play on a Sunday.
So they don't have it yet.
Not yet. Unless that happened today. I don't think.
Okay. So yeah, you'll know at the probably the end of tomorrow. DJ Smooth, man, thank you very much. I want Dave gone, a new OC, weapons, and I'll stop by play-by-play. Well, DJ Smooth, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, man. I think you're like a lot of Giants fans. I think a lot of Giants fans want Dave gone and a new OC. And, I'm kind of at the point now, I just want them to do, I'm leaving it up to Judge. And Judge's ass is on the line with whatever decisions they make. Period, end of story. He's going to be the next, because once you move on from Gettleman, and once you, and I'm not saying it's the wrong decision. I hope whatever they do is the right decision. Once you move on from Gettleman, once you move on from the OC, who's next on the chopping block, Baddog?
Yeah.
Joe Judge.
Coach.
Yeah. Batsy, man, thank you very much. So you better make the right decision. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Batsy, man, thank you very much, man. I missed the entire stream. So real quick, what were your final thoughts on tomorrow's game in a quick rundown? Thanks. All right. I mean, real quick. My thoughts on tomorrow's game, and I appreciate the donation. Thank you very much. We got to do what we did when we were winning football games the first 4 weeks. I know a lot of people want us to go out there. They want us to throw the rock all over the field. Dallas doesn't have a very good defense, but their biggest weakness is their run defense. They've given up 1,003 yards combined over their last 6 contests, over 100 yards in all 6 of those contests. The way the Giants won football games over that 4-game stretch is not rocket science. We won the time of possession. We run the football. Anybody with a brain knows we can't go tit for tat with their offense. Their third best receiver is better than our first. Yeah. They've got better weapons. Their running back, their backup running back blows our starting running back away. They are a much better offensive football team than we are. So we're not going to be able to get in a shootout and win. Will Jones have to make plays? Yeah. Will he have to score in the red zone? Yeah. But the way the Giants are going to win this game is ball control. I think Jones could do a pretty good job of not turning the ball over. We've seen that the last 5 weeks. I think there's going to come a point in this game, though, Baddog, even if he's able to do what he's done the last 5 weeks, which I think he is capable. You're not going against a great defense here.
No.
There's going to come a point in this game where he's going to have to make some plays to win this football game.
No, there's no doubt.
And that's what it's going to come down to. But the Giants have to put him in that situation to give himself the opportunity to win it. And the way they're going to do that is running the football.
I just want to see. Mike Sips asked this question a lot. It actually says DJ looks the guy with those. That's not it. I saw Mike asking a bunch of times, who would I rather have between McCaffrey and Barkley? I'd rather McCaffrey's healthy.
Well, he got hurt too, but it wasn't season ending.
Right. I mean.
Yeah. No, McCaffrey's more proven too.
McCaffrey's already got paid, and he didn't get a ton.
And he's more proven. He's
right. I would at this point. I would just rather take him. But I mean, running backs, it's hard to say. But he is more proven, so I just take him for that simple fact.
Yeah, I love Saquon, but a lot of people saying Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett's the guy that I want to bring in next year if it makes sense to be the backup quarterback. I think it's a perfect fit. Being that he coached, the coaches on the staff coached him. So, and I think he's a good veteran presence. He's a guy that you could, especially even if you feel like Daniel Jones is the guy, Baddog, like if you're dead sold on him and you're like, he's definitely going to be the guy, I still think going forward, you need a solid backup. You need a guy, because we've seen it the first 2 years. Yeah. The guy's missed 4 games. The way that he plays, you have to have a guy that you could really trust to step in and win football games. And I think Brissett's that type of guy.
Agree. I don't know about winning football games. I was going to say Jameis Winston's a guy.
Yeah.
I mean, why not as a backup? And again, I say Josh Rosen. I don't know what the deal is with Josh Rosen. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. There must be something there. I didn't watch him play at Arizona much, but Arizona was absolutely just an awful team when he was there. And he hasn't gotten a shot anywhere else. Would he play in Miami for a bit? And how good were they? They got rid of everybody around him. Yeah. They're good now, but how good were they when he played there for the couple games he played? When he started or whatever.
Take a flyer.
What is he? He don't cost anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm not on the Rosen. I've never been a Rosen guy though.
I'm not really either, but I mean,
you look at him as a guy that costs you nothing and he's got some upside.
Right.
Yeah. I see
there's obviously talent there.
Yeah.
BT sucks though.
Yeah. VT, man, thank you very much. Reports say Peterson's job most likely safe. With that, you're talking about Doug Peterson. What do the Eagles have to play for tomorrow night? They need to play hard for the Giants to have a chance. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to Tana's and Bad Dog's families. Really appreciate that, VTJ. Thank you very much. I mean, pride. I mean, that's it, man. And jobs. The guys that are playing are going to play. They're going to play hard. These guys are competing for jobs. They're competing for contracts next year. Jalen Hurts ain't going to go out there and try to throw 4 picks. He knows he's still competing to be a franchise quarterback.
He's the guy we have to rely on.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is going to have to carry them and win this football game. But I don't think I don't think they're going to go out there and try to lose the game.
No, Hurts is trying to win the starting job from Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
We're good.
But obviously they're at a major disadvantage because Philadelphia we didn't get enough to talk about that. We'll talk about that for about 5 minutes and then we'll close out the show. But I mean, Philadelphia if you got a little boo-boo, they're sitting you out. And that's the approach they're taking going forward. But I still think the players are going to play hard. I still think the guys that are playing are going to try to win the football game. And I said 50-50 game. At this point, obviously, I don't think that. I think maybe 65-35. I still think Philadelphia has a chance. But I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. Maybe 70.
If they're really trying to lose, they put Carson Wentz in there.
Donnelly says, what do you all think about DJ's turnovers the last weeks? They haven't been there. I don't know if that's what you mean, the lack of turnovers. He's only had 1 turnover in the last 5 weeks, so that's been
And that's awesome, but we ain't scoring any points.
yeah, that's been a positive. But yeah, like we were saying at the top of the show, the only thing we can control tomorrow, Baddog, is what we can do. And I'm not gonna. It is what it is. We deserve we deserve whatever we get with the other game. We didn't put ourselves in the situation to be able to control our own destiny. We had 3 weeks to be able to do that. Last 3 weeks. Regardless of what happened earlier in the season, people talk about the Evan Ingram drop. They'll talk about the Cole-back 2 touchdowns against Dallas. Regardless, we had 3 games here and we lost 3 straight. We had an opportunity to win one of them, and we wouldn't be in the situation we are now. So I'm not complaining. I'm not going to bitch and moan. The Eagles, they're trying, I'm going to be fair. The Eagles have had more injuries over the last 2 or 3 years, more so than any other team in football. And it's their right to sit their players. They know there's nothing on the line, and they know they don't want their guys to get hurt. The Giants, they got to hope to get lucky. But before we even have the opportunity to get lucky, we got to take advantage of the Dallas. We got to take, we got to beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, like I said, you can't get mad at Philadelphia for doing that. You can't. We should take care of our own business. When I did that video today, I can't tell you how many comments on the page said if only Evan Ingram caught the ball. If only Evan Ingram caught the ball. So yeah, people will go back to that. That was terrible. That was obviously on him. But to me, I felt like the Bucs game was another one we gave away. That wasn't on him. And the game against
Rams game, we could have won.
Those games we had a chance.
Yeah.
We should have won these other games. Obviously, the referees certainly helped Dallas in the first game. I don't care what anybody says. That was disgraceful. The long passes of the field goal. B.J. Hill got tackled to the ground. I mean, it's a hold. We've said it all year. The Giants get no holding calls on the line. They don't. I see. What was it last week? Was it Dalvin Tomlinson was getting pulled like this? No call. I mean, it's just it happens every week. You see, it's blatant holds, and they don't ever call that. So that helped Dallas out. We could have just held on and won that game again. We'd be our own destiny, but that's not the case.
It is what it is. Football, a lot of it is a game of luck. We say you're not winning a Super Bowl without getting luck. The Giants got luck, and they took advantage of the luck that they received on those Super Bowl runs. So, and a lot of it's a game of bad luck. And the Giants have certainly got some bad luck with the calls this year. They've gotten bad luck with Ingram dropping the ball. But like I said, we could have overcome that. We had 3 games here down the stretch that we couldn't do it. So that's the way I look at it. All we can do tomorrow, beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. There's no excuses. Go out there, beat the Dallas Cowboys, and see where the chips fall.
Yeah, because if we don't beat them, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I am man. Baddog retainer for 2021 Giants quarterback. # facts.
I'm old. I'm not even. I don't even want to go play the football around in the backyard. It hurts.
I ain't going out there and getting beat around by 300-pound men. That's not happening. Kyle says, should Jones know how to scramble by this point, or is our O-line just that bad? I mean,
scramble. He should know how to get away from pressure.
Yeah, I think he has gotten a little bit better in that aspect in terms of sensing pressure, but he's still not where he needs to be. Our O-line is not very good. I mean, if you watched the game last week, the O-line last week was horrible. The O-line against Arizona was awful. Matt Parrott got beat like a drum 3 plays straight. We gave up 3 straight sacks. None of those were on Daniel Jones. So I think the offensive line is inconsistent, to say the least, still. And DJ Smoothman, thank you so much. I wouldn't go get him his job if we suck. You mean if we didn't suck? I think that's what you meant by that. Yeah, I understand it. We're gonna wrap it up with that, though. I understand where you're coming from with the get him and suck thing. I don't think it's fair just to judge him off the record, because I think when you rebuild, you expect a bad record. Like, that comes with it when you knock the team completely down, where you could criticize Davis for some of the moves that he's made. And I understand it. He's been far from a perfect GM, and we'll see what the New York Giants end up doing, at the end of the game tomorrow. Maybe they make the playoffs, and we won't know for a few more weeks, but we'll see. And whatever they do, I hope that they make the right decision. And as Giants fans, that's all we could hope for, whether they stick with Dave or whether they don't. Find somebody that wants to work with Judge. Find somebody that wants to work with Daniel Jones, because I think that's what they want going into the 2021 season. So I just hope they make the right decision. That's
agreed.
That's it. I'm a Giants fan. And the guy Jose says, do you blame Judge for starting DJ too soon? Well, Judge didn't do that.
I think he means off injury. I think that's
okay, my mistake. I don't blame him for starting Jones in that game. I blame him for keeping him in. I understood him starting him because he probably saw him in practice and said he'd give us the best chance. And we found out after the fact Jones got further injured in that game. And he kept him in after the fact. And it was clearly evident there, in the mid fourth quarter, late fourth quarter. He couldn't even limp back to the huddle. I blame him for leaving him in after that. I don't blame him for starting him in that game.
Hindsight to me, after watching the way Daniel Jones played and just remembered, Joe Judge saying we just wanted to make sure he protect himself. I don't think Daniel Jones should have started. I think it was a mistake starting him against Arizona.
Yeah, I think it was a mistake. But I where the big mistake was for me was
he definitely should have taken him out.
He should have taken him out
at halftime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we saw McCoy warming up on the sideline, that's when he should have pulled.
We thought that he was coming, and he should.
Yeah. LA, man, thank you very much. If Gallman has a good game, you have a chance tomorrow. Yeah. The offensive line blocks, we get the run game established. That's every game we play. Anytime you can run the ball like we did against Seattle, you have a very good chance to win. You run for 190 yards, you have a very good chance to win. And that's if we're gonna win tomorrow. That's what we're gonna do. But Baddog, first off, thank you to everybody for tuning in. Could never say thank you enough. It's been an incredible season. With you guys, that both of our channels have grown. Getting to know, more New York Giants fans in the community, growing this community up. It's been incredible. You guys have been incredible. I'm looking forward to continuing this throughout the offseason. Offseason is one of my favorite times. It's when you get creative as a content creator. You can start talking about free agency moves, draft, this, that, the other thing. And I'm looking forward to experiencing with all you guys. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys for making the show what it is. Had over 700 people in here for the better part of the show. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. Hopefully you guys come by tomorrow. Check out the stream. Hopefully it's not our last. Hopefully we're on Bad Dogs for that last playoff game. Biggest game the Giants have played since 2016, and as far as I'm concerned, it's a playoff game. Let's go out there and win it. Bad Dog, say what you got to say.
Yeah, again, it's been a fun season. As bad as we've been, because the division was so bad, it was a lot of fun. To be able to spend a couple weeks in first place and say first place New York Giants, and that was fun. When we went 4 in a row and beat Seattle with our backup quarterback, that was amazing. That was obviously the high point of the season. We made it to 5-7. Looked like we could seriously win this division. Now it's going to depend on help, but at the end of the day, man, it was fun. It was exhausting. It was emotional. I think fans this year are more emotional than ever because we were in the thick of this division. I think if the Cowboys were 10-5 and we were left for dead at the beginning of November and had no chance, it wouldn't have been the same. So I love the fact that we got to be that emotional. I love the fact that we actually still have a chance, not a great chance. We still have a chance at winning this thing in the last week of the season because, like Chris said, it's been 4 years since we've played a meaningful game this late in the season. And I want to beat Dallas. I don't give a damn about a draft pick. I don't care about that. I'm sick and tired of losing Dallas. I hate Dallas with a passion. I cannot stand that freaking team. And I know I talk more crap about the Eagles because I hate them to death, but I mean, Dallas is like this much beneath them, and I can't stand the team either. I get sick of losing to them. I want to win, and then I want that Philadelphia-Washington game to mean something. So let's go Giants, man. And again, you guys this year have been phenomenal. I mean, it's just been so much fun. Again, so many new fans to come in here, support our channels, watch the videos. It's been awesome. And like Chris said, in the offseason, whether that's Monday – or weeks from now, which would be the best.
Mid-February.
Mid-February. We'll have a lot of off-season content. We'll still keep the show going. Hopefully you guys still watch and give us your input and still come into the show. We really, really can never say thank you enough. Words can't express how grateful we are. Such a great fan base. It's fun to be a Giants fan because the fan base is amazing.
Yeah, and we're all going to remember, all the tough times we had to go through when we finally get to the top. The question is, how long is it going to take for us to get there? But when not
much longer.
Yeah, but when we do get there, it's going to feel good. ISO Media, man, thank you very much, man. Yeah, guys, all jokes aside, you guys have been awesome all season. I appreciate you both. You guys make me proud to be a Giants fan. Well, all 700 people, you guys in here tonight, you guys still care for this team. I mean, and that's great. That's what a great fan base is. So I say it all the time, man. It's the truth. You guys inspire me to put out as much content as I do. So. I appreciate you guys more than you appreciate me, believe me. And Subo, man, thank you very much. Just All the best to Giants fam in 2021. Be good and stay healthy. Win tomorrow, DJ.
Yep.
I'm with you, Subo. Biggest game of his career. He's got an opportunity to end the season on a high note. We go into next year feeling a lot better about him being our quarterback. It's his biggest game of his career. Let's see what he's made of tomorrow. But Baddog, do what you got to do. Let's close it out.
Hey, guys, once again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in about 12 hours, for which hopefully isn't the final game of the New York Giants season. It's definitely the final regular season game. Happy and healthy New Year to everybody out there. And once again, for the Entertaining Talking Sports, Bad Thinking Dizzle, we out. Peace.